Oh my god. Okay. So that's gonna be kind of awkward, but I just realized I had the wrong setting checked off. Here we go. Okay, my mic is now working. Oh, I just did that whole intro for like 2 minutes, and it's gonna be a whole bunch of blank talking. Okay, let me. Sorry about that, folks. Let's. We're having a few technical difficulties here, but that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna get this underway, and everything's gonna be great. But anyways, so I'll do just a little bit of an intro here again. So so what this is the top 8 from the round robin of the Czech Slovak Rivals Tournament. This was held over the last month. And there were quite a few participants. There were 17, 18 players that just played off against each other for the month of August. And the top 8 are going to be featured today in a finals. And so there's a little bit of prizing involved as well. The top 2 are guaranteed a prize, and then it's going to be 3 participant prizes after that, which are going to be divvied out randomly to the remainder of the players. No viewer prizes, unfortunately, but still, you know, there's something at stake, which will make the games interesting. The other thing is we're going to have no bans as well, so that's going to be very exciting. Of course, after the most recent balance patch, we don't really know what is overpowered, so that makes perfect sense, and it's going to make for some exciting games. All right, and then of course the other thing I do need to mention is there is a minute delay on stream, so the microphone not working is a little awkward because of that, but we've got it good now. But yeah, so there's a minute delay. So me reading chat, of course, there's going to be a bit of a delay there. But yeah, either way, it should all work out pretty well. All right, so I'm just going to check on where the games are at. Let's see. I'm just going to check in with terRror here. And then hopefully we'll get our first match underway right away. Just going to take a look here on the Discord server. One moment here, folks. And I gotta say, I'm really happy that I get to put on my channel one more time. I really appreciate these guys coming to me and asking me to do this, because I love casting Rivals games, and you know, this is a lot of fun for me. So it's great to boot up the old channel for once and you know, give it a little bit of life back. So that's great. Okay, so I do have a bracket here in front of me. I'm just going to read out the names to you. I don't have a visual here to give you, but I'll just read out the names and then you'll know who we're playing against. So I did paste a link to the bracket. I'm going to do that one more time for you guys. Or not the bracket, sorry. This is from the round robin. There we go. Again, like I said, the minute delay means the text may not make a whole lot of sense. But basically, the top 8 from this list are going to play against each other. So we've got Popes, Adam, Ordeal, Swess, Johannesco, I apologize if I'm pronouncing these incorrectly, Swampert, Dafo, and then I think we're going to have Captain Zab. Actually, hold on a minute. No, sorry. That's not quite right. We got... I'm just trying to read the name here. Dafo? Is that the name? No, I already said that one. Where is it? Ordeal. Ordeal is the one. Oh, never mind. I see what happened here. Okay, Johannesco got a bye, so we're actually going to have only 7. Okay, so those are all the players then. Okay, so then we got Popes versus Johannesco as our first one. We got Adam versus Swampert as our second one. And actually, sorry, the first round it looks like is going to be a bye. We got Ordeal versus Dafo, and that's going to be Swess versus terRror. Oh, terRror is the 8th player. Okay, I see. All right, so that's perfect. We're just... Oh, okay, so right now we're just waiting for one of the players. That's Johannesco. So we're currently deciding if that's going to be a bye or not. We may just end up moving forward with that if that ends up being the case. But that's currently what we're doing. We're just getting all of our matches set up. And of course, always with these Rivals tournaments, keep in mind that there is a bit of a delay at the very start, just because we're getting all the players in. Got to make sure everybody's ready to go. They do, of course, know about the time and day, so it shouldn't be too much more time. But it is always a little bit of a delay at the start of these streams. So it shouldn't be too much longer. Okay, so we're going to give him a little bit of a time to come in, and then we're going to get underway. Let me just confirm with terRror what the format for today is going to be. Oh, the first game's already being created. Perfect. I apologize if you can hear my keyboard. I know it's a bit loud. I'll try to use that as least as possible. And, oh, and even a more interesting spicy rule here, we're going to have random maps. Okay, that should be interesting. All single elimination. Okay. Of course, that makes perfect sense. All best of 3. Okay, so you know what? This is going to be a great tournament to watch. It's going to be quick games, quick series. And you know what? I'm interested to see how this goes. Mostly because, like I said at the very beginning, these are players we don't typically get to see a lot of. This is from a different part of the community. So, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but you know, there's a huge Russian rivals community. There's obviously a Czechoslovakia rivals community, and you know, this is something that we just don't see a lot of. So to be able to showcase that is really great. And some of these players I just want to highlight for a moment here. So in the round robin, the two players that performed the best were Popes and Adam. They both went 9-1, only dropping one game each. That's impressive. And then after that, it goes Ordeal in third place, Swess in fourth, Ionisko in fifth, Swampert in sixth, Daffo in seventh, and terRror in eighth. And the worst record, of course, were terRror and Daffo were 5-5. So pretty exciting overall. Like, the worst was a 50-50. That must means the games here are going to be pretty close, and these players are quite good. So the level of skill is going to be pretty good. I'm expecting to see some pretty close games. Should be exciting. All right, so our first game is ready. Let me get us into there. All right, there we go. Okay. So we're just going to wait for the players to join in, but hey, we're going to get started here pretty shortly. Don Sebastiano asks, are there any special rules? Nope, it's going to be a real simple tournament. Just best of 3, single elimination, no bans. Super, super easy. And random maps too. So it should be nice and quick. It's going to be a good one. All right, just checking on some other information here. Now, for me personally, so I don't know these players very well. I've already kind of said that, but I don't really know what kind of strategies these players use. That's something that terRror knows well. So hopefully when he gets his microphone working, he'll be able to jump in and fill us in on all that great information. But for the time being, this is going to be a bit of a surprise for me. So I'm kind of excited to see that. And we'll see, maybe some unique decks come out of this. Maybe someone's come up with a new meta deck that we can all take a lesson from. Who knows? So there's lots of really cool things I'm hoping for. Hey, Garango, and we got Ordeal. So let's see, who else do we have here? We got Pontiki, Omelette as well. We've got Pickle, Adam Rivals. Right on, right on. By the way, Adam was the gentleman who did all the fine production work you're seeing in front of you. The transition, all the graphics were done by him. And don't they look great? They did a fantastic job. Okay, so it looks like we got our game here. And, well, terRror, I'm ready to go if you are. So go ahead and start the match whenever you're ready. Of course, we're going to give the players just a couple of minutes, too, to get ready. So our first match is going to be Swampert versus Adam. And again, like I mentioned, Adam was one of the top seeds, so this is one of the guys to watch out for. But, you know, having said that, all these guys were pretty close in terms of their results during the round robin. So Adam was just one of those players that ended up coming ahead of the pack quite a bit. So I'm excited to see how this goes down and see what kind of strategies they come out with. The thing with random maps too is it's hard to determine what to play because, you know, there's going to be some map-centric decks that just won't work, like MSV Fortress. But let's have a look and see what we've got on our hands. So we got Swampert versus Adam here. Game number 1, Solomon versus Seth. And we're here on Broken Mesa, a great map to start us off on. A good 3-pad map that's pretty even-keeled. It doesn't really favor too many strategies specifically, although there are some that work better than others, just like any good map. But looking at the decks here, we've got Swampert playing a pretty much classic GDI deck. The only difference here, he's got Orca Bomber as a safeguard. But he's running APC, which you love to see. And, you know, running it with Solomon's kind of interesting, too, because you can Solomon you can Ion Cannon the APC, the missiles still live. So you can clear an entire pad with an APC and enemy units, and the missiles remain, and you can steal missiles that way. Then on the other hand, we've got Adam here playing a pretty interesting deck as well. It's actually kind of standard. This is a deck you might see right when Wheels came out, in fact. And we got lasers, flames, wheels, bikes, Scorpion Tank, and Banshees. That should be exciting. But here we are, first missile coming down, and it looks like Swampert's going to take this missile. Got the Flame Troops dealing damage with his missiles, and Bikes get onto the bottom pad, stalling it. This Pitbull's going to take care of that missile, so now the Flames are going to try and move on to the pad. Pitbull's going to block them, but Scorpion Tank coming out, great counter. Will the APC get on the pad in time? It doesn't really matter too much. The Scorpion Tank should be able to clear this Pitbull in time, and it doesn't matter. Those wheels on the top win the pad, and there, first missile goes to Adam. Well played. So already, Adam showing his prowess as that top player, coming in with that first missile. Of course, these aren't tech decks that we're talking about, so this is going to be a good game if it goes to 3 missiles. So I have to say so far that Swampert's going to have a bit of trouble. Like, he did try to build that APC right at the end there, but it just didn't make it in time. He lost that top pad, which is the real issue there. He needs to contest that pad in order to stall that missile, but not a bad play overall. We got this Orca Bomb coming out as well, but Banshee's going to be pretty decent, not as good as Phantom, of course. As long as Swampert can protect this Orca Bomber, he will be able to get value out of it, but doesn't matter. He needs to get to the pads. Orca Bomber moving up to that top won't be enough. He's not going to be able to get to the far right pad either, so, well, there it is. Adam takes the second missile. Well played game by Adam there. Wow. All right. So, like I was saying at the beginning before the match, Adam was one of the top seeds in the round robin, and hey, he's starting to show why. I mean, what a strong game. Really pushed Swampert off the pads, getting map control, and he did not allow him to really ever take pads except for the very beginning. So, really good fight there from Adam. Of course, this is a best of 3, so we're going to go into game number 2 right away. And we'll see, can Swampert come back with a victory? All right. So here we go. We got the game ready to go. Let me just jump in there. Pyro says, hope you don't mind me headlining for you. Sure, that's no problem. One moment here. Okay, let's jump into that game. I got the code. All right, there we go. Mad Pusher asks, what is this? Yeah, it's a finals. So this is the culmination of a round robin that was held over the month of August in the Czechoslovakia Rivals community. And they did quite a few matches. I think they played 10 matches each over the course of the month. And this is the top 8 from that round robin. There's some prizes involved, not money, but there's going to be some vanity prizes to give away. The top 2 players are guaranteed a prize, and then there's going to be 3 to be given away to the other participants. So there is something at stake here. There's something to be fighting for. Yeah, unfortunately, terRror is having some issues with his microphone, which is why he isn't here yet. But that's okay. He's here in spirit. He's helping out with the tournament administration. He's setting up the games. So he's definitely being a strong part of the tournament already. But hopefully we'll get him online soon. So we're just waiting for the game number 2 to get underway. They're currently deciding on their decks. Like I said, with random maps, there's some decks you just don't want to play because you might get put onto a map that really gives you a huge disadvantage. And as a result, you might end up losing. And in a tournament setting, not a great thing. So I'm not sure what kind of decks you could play. I think that you'd really have to rely on your knowledge of the other players and know what kind of decks they've been playing. And since they've been playing over the month of August against each other, you have to expect that they do have some idea of what they're going to be playing. So it really does come down to, do they know what kind of decks to build to counter those strategies? Do they know what they're doing in the moment? These kind of decisions are extremely important, right in the heat of battles. So that's what this series is going to come down to, I think. But we'll see. We'll see. Swampert's down a game right now. He's coming back into game number 2. We'll see if he can come back and make this a 1-1 and force a game 3. But yeah, again, I just want to say thanks to the Czechoslovakia community for offering to allow me to host this. This is just great, guys. I love to be able to showcase a little bit of a different part of the Rivals community, so that's very exciting. And should be some great Rivals action today. Really looking forward to it. Oh, all right. So the game, for some reason, that was really weird. We're going to jump right in. It looked like Adam wasn't in the game, but here he is. He is in, and we're ready to get game number 2 underway.
3, 2, 1. New objective received.
Okay, here we go. So 2 totally different decks from these players. Swampert switching over to Nod, and then, of course, Adam switching over to GDI. So really great changes here. And we're on Bullseye, which, this is actually not a It's a great map for Strong Arm, so interesting choice there, because Strong Arm can be bad on certain maps. It is good on a wide variety of maps, so not a bad choice in general with random, but here on Bullseye, it's just fantastic. That Strong Arm turret can go right in that middle hex. It's going to be able to do really great blocks between the 3 pads. It's going to be a big problem for Swampert. Having said that, though, he does have access to Inferno. He's running Stealth Tank with it, so I don't know. Hammerhead's going to be very good, but the Stealth Tank will be able to deal with it, and that may end up working out with him not having to run Phantom. So here we are. Adam actually getting pushed off the pads, but he moves the dogs onto the far left with shocks to block those bikes, and now it doesn't look like Swampert's going to get onto any of those 2 pads. There it is. Adam, really nice, sneaky dogs there. Gets on that far left and steals that missile away from Swampert. So Swampert's still not getting up into 1 missile yet. He's lost 3 in a row, and he's really looking for that first victory. Now he's going to try and go into his late game plan. He's running a single Harvester, which with Infernos, sometimes you do want to run double Harvester to be able to spam them. But the thing is, it really depends on who you're playing against. And in this case, I do think Inferno spam could be a really good way for him to come out. Those Hammerheads are going to be problematic, but then he can use Stealth Tanks to cover that off. So I really do think that's where he should be. But anyway, Adam doing a really good job here, just again with good map control. We got a Cane Tower coming down. He's going to hopefully take care of that Pitbull. What does it shoot at? Yep, does take care of the Pitbull, so good micro there from Swampert on the Obelisk. Turret comes down. It doesn't look like he's trying to do anything, though. I'm surprised he placed it there instead of in the middle hex. Of course, it was blocked, and he did want to be able to use it. However, having said that, he's got all 3 pads. His Pitbull and Laser might go down. He's literally going to take care of the missile. No, nice flip here with the flames. Really great play from Swampert. And there it is, his first missile of this series, and now he just needs to get 3 more to win the series. Let's see if he can pull it off. So overall, I gotta say, that was a really good comeback from Swampert. Adam had a lot of low HP units on those 3 pads. That Pitbull's low HP, it had that single missile, which, anything walking by it was just gonna take care of it and destroy it. So that was unfortunate for Adam, just the timing did not work out. It's too close to the end of the missile there for him to get fresh units, so he did end up falling short there. And now we're starting to see this game plan come to fruition here. We got 2 minutes and 30 on the clock. That means we're at max ramp up for economy. So for Swampert, that means he might be able to actually have double Harv economy with that single Harv at this point in the game. So I'm hoping that we start to see Inferno spam. The Hammerhead's a bit of an issue, and he is pop capped on these wheels and bikes. And will it be enough to take it down? So here we go. Hammerhead goes down to that single bike ball. He's got to get that top pad, but will that wheel live against that shock trooper? That's the question. The tower's going to take it out. He just needs to get the block with the wheels, but now he's got all 3 pads. Doesn't matter. And nice comeback here. Swampert comes back. 3rd missile in this game, taking that first victory, and he does force a game 3. Well done. Well done. That's what you love to see. Man, fantastic. What a great game that was. And that's the kind of stuff you hope to see when you get a bunch of fresh new players that you've never seen before. Is like, what's going to happen? And, Swampert, I mean, let's take a look at where his position was. He was number 6 on the list. He had a 6-4 record. Not as good as a 9-1 from Adam, and he's pushing Adam back. So great choice there on deck. The map, didn't really play out too well for either player. I think Kane is worse than Strong Arm on Bullseye, almost definitely, because you can't place it on the middle hex. But overall, it didn't do too badly. And generally speaking, Swampert just had better map control towards the end of the game there. So really well done. All right, so that means we're going to go into a game number 3, which, I mean, for the first series, that's pretty great. That's something you like to see. So that's really, really great. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you do for a game 3. So we've seen already 4 totally different decks from these 2 players. And, I mean, they both had decks that really worked well against each other. Like, there was Hammerhead to deal with the Infernos if need be. There's Stealth Tank to deal with the Hammerheads. There was Pitbulls to deal with the bikes and the wheels and stuff like that. So generally speaking, the decks weren't necessarily hard counters to one another. So, it really did come down to just making smart choices. I do think the game would have been a lot easier had he gone with the Infernal spam plan. But either way, I mean, the bikes at the end there really did clean things up, and just Adam fell short with his map control and just having fresh units on the paths towards the end of that missile. And then also the strong arm turret placement was a little questionable too, but regardless, still, nice game from Swampert. All right, so we got our next code already, and let me just load that up. All right, good stuff. Now, I'm going to switch to the game scene right now, just so we don't lose that again. Maybe I should cover up the code as well. Actually, I'm going to do that at, after this game here. So please don't join the lobby, if you don't mind. So we switch sides here. We're going to have Adam on the left. You know, I don't know if there's actually really any advantage. The only one I can think of is with Mohawk. And so if you're starting on the right-hand side, because of the positioning of Mohawk's gun, it does have a slight advantage because it doesn't have to turn when it shoots when it comes out. But, you know, I don't think there's really any other advantage to that. Although back in the day, there were some maps that weren't asymmetrical. But either way, we've got our players ready to go. So why don't we start this game and get underway? All right, here we go. Game number 3. Oh, I'm so excited for this. We got Adam versus Swampert again, and this time it's going to be Adam playing Nod, and it's going to be Swampert playing GDI. And I have to expect probably different decks again. Let's have a look. All right, so Adam has gone back to that first Nod deck that he was successful with. He figures, you know what, I won with it once, I'll win with it twice. And then Swampert, he's decided to change gears completely again. He's running a totally different GDI deck. Love the creativity. Now, having a look at the deck, it's very, very odd here. We got War Dogs as his opener, and it's the only unit in that building. So, you know, he's spending 50 Tiberium to get that first War Dog out, and then he's immediately having to switch into something else as soon as he gets hard countered. And that's exactly what's happened here. We've got Adam opening with War Factory, so he's got bikes, and Swampert had to spend a lot of money to get into those missiles. So now he does need to get into a heavy anti-vehicle unit, which is going to be Orca, and he's doing a pretty good job here stalling the missile, and that's going to be very important if he's going to get to Orca in time to steal the missile. But as you see here, it's getting close to going off, and he's instead built a Talon, so that's going to work pretty well, but of course these bikes are going to be a big issue. So right now, neither player really getting a lot of charge time, but we're almost at a minute here on this missile. It's not too bad. That's going to play out well for Swampert, as he does have Titan Tech Splash, which, you know, in this matchup is going to be pretty good. He's going to be able to deal with those Banshees using Talons and missiles, hopefully. And Banshee doesn't do a good deal of damage to Titan, so it should work out well. But nice drill pod there on that bottom pad. Gets him on there. Doesn't get the block from Swampert. So now Adam going to come back, steal this first missile. Really well done. Of course, those Flame Troopers on the top take care of those missiles. And this is what I was talking about at the beginning here, is this deck that Swampert's built. He had to go into 3 buildings in order to get to a reasonable answer to what Adam was making. All Adam had to do was go into 2, so huge advantage to him. We do have a lot of time on this match, though. We're looking at a minute 30 right now, which means that Swampert, that's what he wants. He wants to stall. He needs to get to that Titan. He needs to start building them and start taking over the game. So that's what I expect to see happen next. So I gotta say, so far, Adam doing a really good job here. He's got Banshee out as well to take care of these Orcas. Swampert's almost at that Titan. It's not quite there yet. He needs to be careful. He's got his Tech Lab up. Now he's going to build the first one, but goes for missiles instead to start contesting the pads. He's going to try and stall it, but these Flame Troopers are doing a really good job here for Adam, taking care of these missiles in very efficiently. Talons are doing pretty good too, but he's not getting the 2v1 that he needs to be able to take care of those Banshees. And now the first Titan coming out, he boosts to get into position quickly. He's moved that Harvester off. He's going to try and get onto a pad. Nice play, but isn't it enough? He's going to try and get rid of these bikes, gets rid of one, and Harvester does make it on there. Really nice play from Swampert. He does need to clear these bikes on the bottom right. The War Dogs aren't going to be enough. This Titan does have great infantry damage now that's been nerfed. So will be able to clear these lasers in time, or is Adam going to be able to claw back? He's only got access to Banshee and lasers to really effectively deal with that Titan. It's almost down, and it doesn't look like Swampert's going to build another one anytime soon, so we're going to see those lasers finally go down to that Titan. Harvester's going to back off. He's going to move the Titan into position, I believe, now, although it is going to go down to the lasers, so another one coming out here, and he's got the top hat again with the Harvester. Oh boy, this isn't looking good. Can he get the block? Oh, nice play there from Adam with the drill pod. Gets onto that bottom right pad, but unfortunate, he doesn't survive on the top pad, and that gives Adam the second missile and the series. Wow, what a great game that was. Unfortunate there, the Titan just wasn't enough, and you know it got to a point where he's really scrambling at the end of the game. There, he's squandering his resources a little bit, pulling the Harvester off the pads, and yeah, just didn't work out towards the end. And that's the problem with tech decks and expensive decks in general, is that they tend to get really greedy, and they get greedy at the worst time in the game. Like you want to build them way before the missile goes off. You want to get them onto pads and use their high hit points to stall the missile. But in this case, it just couldn't happen. He only got 2 Titans out. The first one was dealt with in a relatively normal amount of time. Usually tech takes a really long time to take care of, but in this case, he had all the time he needed. So Adam was able to claw his way back and took that second missile and closed out the game. So Adam, you know, showing why he was one of the top 2 players in this round robin, taking the series, did lose 1 game though. So Swampert did put up a really great fight. It is single elimination, so that means Swampert is now out of the tournament. And all right, I'm just going to check in right now with terRror to see if he wants to try and get his microphone working. So it'll just be a few minutes here. But I hope you guys are enjoying the tournament so far. Once again, I do want to send a quick thank you to the whole team over at the Czech Slovak community who offered to allow me to host this. In addition to that, provided all these fantastic production visuals that you got your eyes feasting on right now. And yeah, just a really great little team that they put together, and this whole tournament is just fantastic. Okay, so we are going to take a little short break here. It's just going to be a few minutes. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the timer. Let me see what time it is right now. All right. So it's just going to be 5 minutes, guys. We're going to let terRror try to get another microphone here. And then we'll be back.
Hello.
All right. I think we have our friend terRror here. terRror, say hello.
Okay, hello guys.
All right. I think you might be a little bit loud on my end. Let me just turn you down just a touch. Guys in chat, let me know how the audio is, and let me know if I need to make any adjustments. But terRror, you're here. We made it. All right. So terRror, why don't so now that we've got you here, can you tell us a little bit about the players maybe, and just fill us in a little bit on the history of the tournament?
Well, the tournament was originally created by Ordeal,
Oh, okay.
but he doesn't have time for it. He has some real life issues, so I decided to make it happen.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing that, terRror. You know, this is the kind of stuff that makes Rivals exciting and fun to be a part of, is these tournaments. So that's great. Well, I'm glad you took the reins and decided to push through with it. That's awesome. So how often do these tournaments happen? Is this a regular thing in the Czech Slovak community?
No, it's first one.
This is the first one.
Um,
Wow.
Maybe we will have next one. Haven't decided yet.
Yeah, well, you know, if you decide to have another one, let me know. I would love to do it. But yeah, I gotta say, you guys have done a really great job. The production, like the graphics I was provided, I mean, it looks just awesome. It really does. Really great stuff. So anyways, okay, well then I guess we're going to move into the next series, right? We're going to have, is it Ordeal versus Daffo? Is that the one we're featuring next?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
I'm just checking if they are here.
Okay. Sounds good. terRror's too loud? Okay. I've turned him down a bit. Let me know how that is now. Oh, and so just to give you a little update on the bracket, so it looks like Ionisco, he wasn't able to make a terror. Is that correct?
Yes, he reached out and he said that he cannot come, and unfortunately.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
Well, it gives
that's
Popes a
life.
bye. Yeah. Yeah, that, you know, in these tournaments, that happens a lot, right? Where, you know, you plan to have everybody get together and somebody doesn't show up. It's unfortunate, but that's okay. That does give Popes a free win, so that means he's going to be playing Adam in the semis. So that's going to be exciting. Those are the top 2 seeds, so that should be a great series to see.
Yes. To be honest, I expected Swiss to win the tournament. The Popes was like silent killer. He wasn't very vocal on our Discord, and we didn't know much about him before he started to play tournament.
Interesting. Okay, so really, I know Swiss. I've actually seen his name before, and I know he's a pretty good player. So you were expecting him to take this, eh? Interesting.
Yes, but the funny thing is that many of these players are actually top 100 in the ladder, like Popes, Atom, Ordeal. And there are also some who didn't make it to the top 8 and are regularly top 100 in the ladder.
Oh yeah, interesting. I mean, like, you know, the worst record of the whole round robin was 2-7. So it's not like there was anybody here who just didn't win any games. I mean, everybody won at least a few. So that's always interesting to see how these round robins, like the placement works out. So yeah, and I'm like, personally, I've never heard of many of these players. Like Popes, I've never seen before, but I'm excited about that because he looks like he's going to be a great player. And oh, okay, so we got our first game up. Perfect.
Yes, we are waiting for you. Actually.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. All right, well, we've got our game ready, so go ahead and start it, terRror.
Okay, let's start.
Establishing battlefield control.
All right, now our second series, we've got Dafo versus Ordeal. And again, two players I've never heard of before, but should be very interesting. So, terRror, maybe you can fill us in a little bit about what to expect.
Yes, the Dafo is actually playing quite a lot deck, and he is somehow good at it.
Well, let's see what he's planned here. So, Ordeal's playing a 4 War Factory deck using APC, and he's opted to go with War Dogs. So normally, I think you'd be running Rifleman in that slot, but he's opted to use War Dogs so he could open War Factory. And then Dafo, it's kind of the same game plan, except he's got Fanatics and Centurion Tech Splash. So, I don't know, the Centurion versus the APC could be pretty good. We'll see how that plays out. Centurion's kind of weak in my opinion. I think Scorpion Tank would just be better than that and run the 4 War Factory version. But, you know, overall, these two decks are pretty close in terms of power level. I think it's really just going to come down to good placement and positioning. So, let's see how that happens. So Ordeal here, he's about to take this missile, and the missiles are trying to deal with those bikes, but not going to be able to get there in time. However, the Pitbull's playing with the wheels on the bottom pad there is really great. These two Pitbulls are going to be able to hold steady. The missiles are going to try and get onto that pad there. The Fanatics move into position early, though, and stop them. The snipers come up from behind, and that's very, very good. These two Pitbulls are going to hold steady against these bikes, and now he should be able to pull onto the pads. So as that wheel goes down, oh, it's so close. There it is. Finally moves off the pad, though, with the Pitbull. Might be a slight misplay here. He does try to manage his unit composition and try to get good matchups, but these double sniper here on the bottom might be an overcommitment, as it could very easily get juked here, but these snipers are going to finally get on to. He look like he can deal with those Fanatics, and he's got all those pads covered. Nice block with that top Pitbull, and there it is. All right, Ordeal, there he finally takes that first missile. Well done to him. Well, that was pretty exciting first missile, terRror. I don't know about you, but I wasn't really sure who was going to take there at the end, but the snipers really came in hot there.
I wasn't really sure about snipers versus Fanatics.
Yeah.
Snipers are quite fragile.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem with them, right? As we see there, like even those 3 wheels there, he had to be very careful. He had to back them off just in time to make sure he didn't lose one single model. That's the thing, snipers only got 3 squad members, so as soon as they lose one, their power level drops significantly. And you might see that here. There, one goes down, just those 2 wheel shots. You know, you're right, they are absolutely fragile. So right now, it looks like Ordeal's really trying to go into this turtle game style. He's got 2 Predator tanks. He's got an APC in behind. It's going to go back to his base, so he really needs to get onto that pad. He's going to try and move forward, but the Centurion now coming up for the first time. He's going to boost the Predator tank. I'm not sure if that was the right call. He does get out the APC onto the pad, though, which is really great. And Centurion boosted as well. Will take some extra damage from the Predator, but should win here. And once APC goes down, the missiles will spring out, and that means they will be able to deal with the Centurion 1v1. And he does get a second one onto that pad, which is really great. Centurion here not really doing too great of a job, and now snipers coming in from behind. This is exactly what Ordeal wants to be doing. He wants these snipers to be protected by these Predator tanks to make sure that they don't absorb shots from cyber wheels. And now with this missile coming down to it, it's getting very close. Ordeal's really looking like he's going to take it here. But however, the top pad gets taken out. The Predator tank loses. Snipers do move on to there, but of course, there's nothing anti-infantry on that top pad, so he might be able to survive here. Got to get rid of these 2 wheels. Just about does. The Centurion is going to clear that sniper. Doesn't move on to the pad. Oh, it does! No block on that Predator tank. The extra speed from the Centurion allowed it to take that hex sooner. And now it's looking like Dafo might be coming back. Oh, there it is. Yep, second missile to Dafo. Wow, well done. Very well done. So I don't know about you, terRror, but these Centurions are doing some pretty good work here against these Predator tanks.
Yes, but Centurion is very slow.
It is very slow,
Many players say that Predator tank is not good unit.
Yeah, that's very true. No, 100%, right? Like, it does take a long time. And I think against Predator tank, it's pretty decent because the Predator tank has slower shots, right? Like, compared to the Scorpion tank, its fire rate's slower. So I think the Centurion shield does come up more reliably against Predator tanks. And wow, look at this. Both pads completely taken over by Dafo. Sniper's trying to come in from behind. That wheel blocks the snipers. Fanatic will go down. That's going to stall the missile. Centurion's going to make it there just in time. Doesn't matter. Missiles get on the top pad. Snipers coming in. They're going to deal with the Fanatics, but the wheels are there too. And now the boosted wheels will shoot through them, and it looks like he's going to push over, and never mind, because he just can't make it. And wow, look at that. Dafo comes back. 3rd missile, winning game number 1 of this best of 3. Well done to him.
It's very funny to see boosted APC.
Isn't it? Yeah, I know. It almost seems like just a move in desperation, right? Because APC is so bad at taking tiles because it's so slow, right? It does look really awkward seeing a slow unit boosted, though, 100%. But so terRror, like, what did you think how that match was going to play out? Did you expect Dafo to come ahead?
Well, I wasn't really sure, but because the guys are very, very close in terms of skill, it's very hard to decide who's better.
Well, just looking at the rankings, so Ordeal placed third, winning 6 games, 3 games, and he actually had the only tie of anybody, of course, except for the person he played against. And then, so we got Dafo with a 5-5 record. So actually, you're right. It's fairly close. You know, it was only one more win over Dafo. So, yeah, pretty interesting. I think all these players are pretty well within the same range of skill, would you say? Like, there's obviously some that are a little bit better than the others, but I think the overall range is pretty close. All right, we got our next game up, so we're going to jump into that right away. This will be game number 2, of course. And so hopefully the audio is good. Let me know if terRror is still too loud or if I need to make any further adjustments. Should be okay for now, but just let me know. All right, we're just waiting for our player to join in, and then we're going to start the game right away. This has been a good series. I mean, well, it's only been one game, but I mean, that one game was really, really good. So let's see how game 2 is going to turn out.
Dafo is now like, okay, tech is good. I'm going with 2 tech.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Yeah, Centurion on its own, not enough. Absolutely.
Okay, let's start it.
Let's do it.
Dafo is actually playing a lot of
establishing battlefield control.
So I was expecting him to go with Basilisk, and he took to Centurion.
Interesting. Okay. I feel like Centurion's better than Basilisk, but... Oh, and, well, okay, so Dafo is using Basilisk now with Cyborgs as well. So, that, you know, I don't usually agree with when you run 2 tech units. I feel like the 2 should generally work with each other. Like, at the end of the game, once you get to the second, like, you get past the second missile, you're at full econ ramp. I think at that point in the game, that's when you really want to be just pumping out tech unit after tech unit. So at this, like, what he's going to need to rely on is a combination of Basilisk, Cyborgs, and Chem Buggy, basically. But really, it's going to come down to can he get enough stall on this missile? And so far, it has stalled a fair amount, but it's also charged fairly efficiently. So we'll have to see as his first missile comes down. But right now, Ordeal doing a pretty good job here. He's got this Chem Buggy doing a great job against these lasers, of course. I don't know if he realizes what he's up against, so we don't see a second Harvester from Dafo, so he may not be thinking that Dafo has 2 tech units in his deck. He could be expecting an aggro deck, but it looks like he's got map control here. He gets the bikes on that top pad, and the militants they're not actually going to survive long enough to really get the block on the Chem Bike. Oh, it does make it there just in time with that sneaky boost, just barely gets there. These bikes coming in from behind are going to cause an issue. Of course, he needs to move back onto that top pad. He does with the bikes. He's going to try and deal with these bikes with the Chem Buggy dealing damage with the tip field, but it's not going to be quite enough. He does get onto that far right pad once again with another set of bikes, and this is just turning into a bike versus bike. The Chem Buggy is going to go down now. All he needs to do is just block these bikes from getting on the pad, and, well, there it is. The first missile. Oh, wait a minute. No, he gets onto that far left pad. The lasers don't get the block, and now Dafo takes it. Oh, snap. You know, man. Dafo. What a comeback. Unfortunate for Ordeal, though. You know, he really should have blocked the lasers on that far left pad. You know, and it's not uncommon for a Rivals player to miss a small detail like that in a very heavy game like we're seeing here. So, unfortunate there. Ordeal could have gotten the block on those lasers, stopped those bikes from getting there, but just wasn't able to. And so, what do you make of this deck that Dafo is running here with the Basilisk and Cyborg combination? Is this something he runs a lot?
Yes. I think he's running in ladder also, and he plays like most games in tournament with this deck.
Ah, okay.
So it
interesting.
Seems like he's very familiar with this deck.
Well, and sometimes that's all that you really need is something that you know, because if you play a deck that you don't know the game plan of how to win with it, it can really lose your games. So right now here, Dafo again getting a really strong foothold on the map here, but the Mutant Marauders doing a pretty decent job. Of course, they're going to lose to those militants on the far left. Stealthing's going to lose to the militants on the far right. Chembuggy's going to hold this middle pad. Can he block with that single bike? The Chembuggy coming in from behind doesn't block the lasers from getting on the pads, and now they get on there. Of course, the two Chembuggies will be able to block these bikes from getting in, so looks like this is going to be a missile here for Ordeal, and oh no, the bikes just sneak on, but however, Stealthing cleans up the bikes, and there it is. Ordeal coming back, winning a second missile, pushing this game to a third missile. Really well done.
Yes, but he needs 2 harvesters and he has none for a
That's
very
true.
long time.
You make a really strong point there, actually. You're right, he's been playing with a single Harv this entire time. And you're right, he does need to run 2 Harvs. He's going to actually get to his Basilisks and Cyborgs. And he's just going to be relying on these 4 cards to win this game. So you're 100% right. That is exactly what needs to happen if he's going to be able to win this. But I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, look at this. We're about third way through this third missile. We don't see a second Harvester coming out anytime soon. He's just gone into this 4-card game plan. And, you know, looking at Ordeal's deck, he's got some better tools under his arsenal. So this is going to be a pretty tough battle here for Dafo.
I'm not sure if Dafo noticed that he was playing like whole second missile without harvester.
Yeah, right? Like, and now he's going to see this Basilisk, so for sure he understands now. And he's going to boost it here, but the Stealth Tank, uh-oh, he's boosted it, so that means to go down. No, actually, never mind. Stealth Tank will one-shot it no matter what. Oh, that is a huge loss for Dafo. All that money invested, and now it's just gone. Of course, these Mutant Marauders are here. They will take care of the bikes. The lasers on the top left will eventually go down to the Mutant Marauders, but it's going to take quite a while. So bikes come in from behind. They're going to lose to the Mutant Marauders, and now, with all 3 pads secured, Ordeal takes it. Third missile, and also the game. Really well done.
Okay, 1-1 again.
1-1 again. How many times do you see in a tournament where the first 2 series you showcase actually end up going to their full length? That is fantastic. You know, that's the one thing I was really excited about getting to showcase and host this tournament, was being able to see a different set of players. And looking at the round robin stats, the top 8, I was saying at the very beginning that these players are pretty well within each other as far as records go. Like, nobody went 4-6, nobody went 3-7. It was 5-5 and up. So that just shows you that these players are quite talented, and that's, you know, I think that's exactly why we're seeing these series go this way. So really, really good stuff. Really great. All right, we got our next game up. I'm going to jump into that right now. Sorry. All right, there we go. Okay. But, you know, like what you were saying there in that match, 100% right. Like, the fact is, he ran a single harvester throughout that entire game. And if he had gone with a double harv, like, if even, you know, even going through the first missile with 1 harvester is generally okay. As long as you win it, right? But the thing is, he won the missile and then he didn't go into a second harv. Like, he just decided to try and gain value through trades on a single harv. And, you know, he only built 1 Basilisk. It went immediately down to a Stealth Tank, and he lost all that money. So it didn't work out too well for him at the end there.
I think that Ordeal knew that he's going to have and didn't go.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because he knows him.
All right, terRror. Well, I think our players are ready to go, so go ahead and start the match whenever you're ready.
Let's go.
Establishing battlefield.
All right, game number 3. All right, our second best of 3 series of the day, going to 3 games. This is very exciting. This is great. And we're on a totally different map. Of course, we are playing random maps, so that's expected. But let's take a look here. So, all right, well, Dafo's playing the same deck, and then Ordeal is... It's actually the same deck, isn't it? It looks like it's going to be another match, just different map.
Yes. Yes, they look same.
Now, the question here is, does Dafo change his game plan, right? Like, you can play the same deck, but you can play a different deck. Or play it differently.
But did Dafo play Oksana before?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. Did he play Oksana? Yes, he did, because he boosted the Basilisk, right? And then it went down to the Stealth Tank. So, yeah, for sure he did. So I think it is exactly the same for both. Well, so far, it looks like Dafo's not going to be going into a second harv. Maybe he's going to go with that game plan I mentioned earlier of building the second harv at the beginning of the second missile. But, you know, again, he's relying on 4 cards to try and win the game so far. And that's going to work in the early game. It's not going to work so well for him in the late game. And right now, Ordeal doing a pretty good job here. This Chem Buggy doing all right. He moves it back, gets some Mutant Marauders in place, and that is the game plan he's looking for, is the Mutant Marauder Chem Buggy combination. And he boosts the Mutant Marauders to get in position against the bikes, but instead stops him, tries to take care of the Chem Buggy. It is going to take care of the lasers first. Chem Buggy gets on there in the middle, and now it looks like all 3 paths taken by Ordeal. Those bikes on the far left should live, but oh, a little bit of stall. No, never mind. The Chem Buggy did win on the bottom pad, and well, Ordeal takes that first missile. Well done. Well, so far, I got to say, Daffo, you know, he looked really, really strong in that first game. He came back, won 2 missiles, and, you know, now it's starting to look like he's just not going to go with that double hard plan. I'm very surprised to see this, because, Terry, you said that this is the deck he plays a lot on ladder, so I feel like if he's going to have success on ladder, he's really got to invest in the double hard plan, but he's just not doing it here.
Yes, but I think that Ordeal very well knows him and doesn't go too hard.
Oh, so you think maybe he's trying to throw a wrench in his plans, you know, trying to say, hey, this isn't a double harp deck. All right, well, here, this is what it all comes down to. He needs to get the block on these bikes. Mutant Marauders move into as well. Bikes, will they move on in time? They don't. Oh, so close. Almost got the stall with those bikes on the bottom pad, but it doesn't matter. Ordeal takes that second missile, 2 in a row, winning the series in this best of 3. Well done to him. Wow, well, that was you know, that was a bit of a more one-sided fight, I gotta say, between the two of them. I think Ordeal just did a really great job of countering his game plan. I think maybe like you were saying that Daffo was trying to confuse Ordeal because they know each other so well from playing each other over the last month that, you know, he's trying to say, hey, this isn't double hard, because if he realizes that's what he's playing against, then he, you know, he knows exactly what his win condition is. But without that information, maybe you're right. Maybe he does get, maybe he's a bit disadvantaged, but I gotta say, I think Daffo really did need to go double harv. Just get into that double harv, get into his Basilisks and Cyborgs. It would have done a much better job, I think. The Basilisk and the Cyborgs together would do a pretty good job and shut down all those Chem Buggies. Mutant Marauders would go down to Basilisks. I just think, like I say, in general, that would have been the way to go, but still, very, very good series. So that wraps up the second series of the first bracket. So we're going to move into our second part of the bracket. So this is going to be you playing against Swess, is that right?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. So terRror's going to be hopping off here just for a moment while he jumps into a game, but either way...
Swess is actually my nemesis.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's great. Well, then this is going to be a pretty hype match, I would say. You know, I remember back in the day, I had, when I played a lot more, I had a lot, there was a few players. One of them was, what was his name? Started with a B. He was in the same alliance as Reb. I'm trying to remember his name now. Big something. It escaped me. But anyways, he was one guy I could never beat. Every time I would match him on ladder, he would always win. You know, and it was just one of those players you just can't beat. So is that kind of the same scenario for you here? Are you a little concerned about this match?
I have played him like, I don't know, 20 times, and I won once.
Oh my. Well, it's going to be a tough series for you then, terRror. But you know what? I know you're a good player. I played against you many times. You know, you probably improved quite a bit because you still play it quite regularly. So, you know what? I think you got to go with the, I can do this. I know I've lost to him lots before, but this is going to be the time that changes. I'm going to do it this time. All right. So are we, we're just waiting for the other player, I assume?
I'm creating the game now.
Oh, right. Okay. So what do you guys think of the matches so far, and which one has been your favorite? Tell me in chat, guys. I'd love to hear about that. I think so far for me, I think the first series was easily my favorite, especially the second game where Swampert came back. He lost the first missile, right? And you're thinking, oh boy, it looks like he's, you know, Adam's just going to close this out. But then Swampert came back and won 2 missiles in a row. That was just so super exciting, pushing it to a game 3. Didn't eventually win the series, but still, you know, really clawed back there. That was really wonderful to see. All right, so we're just getting the next game ready to go. Shouldn't be too much longer. And then, yeah, we're going to jump into our next series between terRror and Swess. Now, I'm not overly familiar with the decks that these two play. terRror, I know you like to play chems quite a bit. I don't know if you still play chems,
Yes.
do you?
Yes, and Swiss is going to beat me with Avatar.
Oh, no. Oh, really? Okay. Well, Jade versus Avatar would be a great matchup. But Swess, I've seen him before. I know him as a player, but I don't really know what he plays a lot of. So that's going to be a bit of an unknown. But terRror, I know you know him quite well. Is there anything you're expecting to see from him?
Yes, Avatar.
Avatar. Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah.
No, he's like trying the different decks, and when I win, then he just brings Avatar and beat me.
Oh man. Well, let's see if that ends up being the case. terRror, if you want to go ahead and start the match whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's start it.
All right, now terRror's going to step away here. He doesn't want to get any in-game audio, so he is going to take his sound out of the call. But here we go. So terRror versus Swess. We got game 1 here, and it's looking like it might be Jade versus Avatar, although he's running Seth. You'd expect to see Oksana with Avatar, but here it is. All right, well, just like terRror predicted, this is exactly what we thought we would see. We got Avatar versus Jade, and terRror here is running Chem Warriors with Jade. He's opted not to run the Catalyst Gunship, which is an interesting choice. I don't think I've seen a lot of Jade decks running Catalyst Gunship, so maybe that isn't the best commander for that unit, but Chem Warriors are always a solid choice just because they have tons of health. They're difficult to remove, which is why they're so great. Once you get them up to the base, then they stay there for quite a long time, long enough that even if you got his hard counter there, you can probably get a cloud off of them. So, in terms of the game plan, of course, terRror needs to close this out early. We see a lot of stalling going on here. He does move the bikes onto the far left pad, but of course, moving up those lasers and bikes on the middle pad means that Swess gets to stall again. However, he moves the wheels there too, so this is a problem here for terRror. If we start to see the cane claw go too late, that means that Swess is going to be able to very easily close this game out, as he's going to, just completely stonewall him with these avatars. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. If terRror does win this first missile, though, that opens up the opportunity for him to go to the base and take it down. So that is a possibility as well. All right, so first drill pod coming down here from Swess, spending a lot of money on it, but maybe it's going to win him this missile here. It doesn't matter. He does get onto that middle pad stalling it. The chems are going to beat those wheels, I believe. He does need to get the block and not lose this missile, but the bikes are just sneak onto that far right pad. They will go down to those 2 bikes. Unfortunately, it does fire onto the Harvester instead of the bikes to get some damage there, but Scorpion Take coming in from behind won't be quite enough. Will that wheel survive? Oh, it just does. So close there, guys. Did you see that? My god, the Chem Warriors just barely took out the wheels after the missile fired. Had it been just half a second longer, that would have been terRror's missile. And this is what I talked about here in the beginning, is the moment that terRror goes down a missile, he's now going to have to win 2 in a row, which means he's going to 3 missiles, and that is where Avatar loves to be. So this is going to be a very difficult game for terRror. So here we are, got Swess coming out with the stealth tank, very low health, does get full bike volley on him, but doesn't go down. It lives with a sliver of health. He might be able to take care of these bikes, but doesn't. Unfortunately, wasn't able to, but doesn't matter. Now this first Avatar, the War Mech here is coming out. Gets rid of them. A Catalyst Missile tries to come down. It's going to get some damage. Oh, wait a minute. Nice. What? Absolutely beautiful Catalyst Missile there. Took down the Avatar with 2 clouds because the Avatar had to move with its radar, so he got 2 hexes down, clearing it. That is absolutely massive here for terRror. If he can start to shut down his economy, terRror might have a chance here. Let's have a look. So far, like I said, a lot more stalling. He is moving the tank over, and he's gotten 1 Harvester down. That's really, really great here. It slowed him down. He does have quite a bit of money, though. He's only 30 tib away from the next Avatar. The only thing that's stopping here is PopCap, but it doesn't matter. You invest in the stealth tank instead. It's going to clear this Scorpion, stalling the missile more. Chem Warrior's on this middle pad doing a pretty good job. He needs to clear these wheels. He gets it on the far right pad, though. Bikes move in. However, stealth tank's just about to reload, and once it does, it's going to clear the bikes. However, he's moving it over to the far right, which is a very odd play. terRror comes back, though, with the second missile, manages to get himself back into this game. Oh boy, and you know what? Another Avatar is out on the field. Can terRror pull off another miracle with that Catalyst Missile? That was an absolute masterclass play, and maybe he can do it again. But here he's going to try again. It's only going to get a little bit of damage, though, about half. Not quite enough. But when you consider how much the Avatar is, getting half of it's a pretty decent trade for 70 or 80 Tiberium. He's going to try and clear it with this tank. It almost does, but it's not going to get it. Oh, it does. He stops firing with that Avatar, letting the Scorpion tank finish it off. And again, another big loss for Swess. And so far here, terRror's doing a really great job of pushing him into a corner. I don't know, from here it's tough to say how this game is going to play out. We were at full ramp up. You look at the Tiberium gain on Swess's side. You see how quickly he's gaining. It's 11 Tiberium per second. It's just insane. So now another Avatar on the field, and this is exactly what terRror's afraid of. He does have Banshee, so he could hold a pad against an Avatar if need be, and that's what he's going to try and do. So he tries to back it off because of the stealth thing coming in. He's going to try and choose a target, but Avatar moves over and gets rid of the lasers, and that means he's going to take this missile. I don't see a way for terRror to come back from this point. Oh, he's going to try and get a stall, but the tank will eventually go down. Stealth tank's just about reloaded. The lasers plus the stealth tank will clear that Scorpion tank, and it's only a matter of time here before Swess wins this game. There it is. Whew, my goodness. My goodness, what a game that was. Some really great cat missiles as well. All right. Well, I got to say, terRror, are you back with us now?
Yes.
What a game. You know, I gotta say, the that catalyst missile, that first one you pulled off with the two clouds, absolutely brilliant play. It was a bit of a, you know, misplay from Swess where he used the radar of the Avatar to move between two tiles, but it allowed you to set down two clouds and actually manage to clear that Avatar. And then you did find a way to clear the second one too. Is just, you know, it was at that point in the game where you're gonna get steamrolled by tons of Avatars. But I gotta say, terRror, you know, you had me worried because you were saying usually like you're the guy that you just can't win against, but you came really close there. You did a really good job.
Okay, thank you.
I know a loss feels bad, but you know, you fought really well, and that, I gotta say, that catalyst missile was a real highlight for that game. That was fantastic.
Well, I did not expect to win, so it's okay.
You got to go into these games with more confidence under your belt, terRror. I know you can do it. You came close. I mean, almost winning a third missile against an Avatar deck is pretty impressive, so you know, just a little bit more and you would have had it, I think. But of course, you know, that does mean we're going to move into game number 2. It's a best of 3 single elimination. So for terRror, he does get another chance. Now, one thing that's going to be really deterministic in the next game is going to be the map. We're here on random maps. And for an Avatar deck, if he decides to go with that again, which he very well may be doing just because of the fact it won one game, he's feeling good with it, he's going to play it again. And I guess with, you know, terRror being his arch nemesis, he's obviously going to try and use whatever's going to work the best. So that's something to watch out for. But the map, I think, is going to play a huge role in this next map. Because if he doesn't get something that's good for double Harv, terRror, well, it's going to play out well for you. But we're going to have to see.
I think that with the random map, most players choose the deck they are very, very familiar with, because they have to use their imagination a lot.
That's right. Yeah, you do typically want to play something more comfortable. That's true. All right, well, we got the players ready to go, so go ahead and start the game, terRror.
Let's go.
Establishing battlefield control.
All right, here we go. Game number 2, and an unusual switch here from Swess. He's decided to go with GDI. I was fully expecting to see another Avatar match, but looks like terRror's going to stick with exactly the same deck. Swess here is going to change into a completely different deck, of course. He's running GDI. So Strong Arm here is going to work very well. This is a great map for Strong Arm. So Swess has won the map lottery, basically. For terRror, I mean, Jade's not bad on this map. You got that top lane that you can push the Chem Warriors over to, so he does have a somewhat direct line. It is you know, it's a very long ways to go for a Chem Warrior, and there is a bit of a choke point at that base, so not that great for Jade, but not terrible either. For Swess here, he is running APC here with Orca. APC is pretty good against the Chem Warriors and this deck in general, just because it can tank for so long. What it's going to really come down to here is Swess needs to be able to protect his snipers. And if he can do that and reliably remove the Chem Warriors, then Swess is going to have a really, I think, a relatively easy time dealing with this, because as soon as he camps those APCs on the pads, then it's going to become pretty difficult for terRror to remove them. Having said that, though, he is running Jade, and a good Catalyst missile will be able to clear both the APC and the missiles underneath, so which is one key advantage over Solomon. All right, so far, Swess looking pretty good here. Drops that turret down to block any lasers from coming in, just as security gets that pitfall on the far left. But it doesn't matter. That far right pad was taken by those dogs, and terRror just could not contest them. So there it is. Sweats takes that first missile. And, you know, this APC here, the first one coming out, did get there in time, so it was good timing there for Sweats. And this APC here, again, like, this is a problem here for terRror. He needs to be able to remove it efficiently, and with the amount of time going on here, it looks like Sweats is just going to keep building APCs. I wouldn't be surprised if he built another one right now, although he is a little bit slow on the unit building here. Puts down a turret there to try to deal with these Chem Warriors. Of course, the APC does a pretty good job, but the Scorpion Tank there is going to win against that. Chem Warriors move off. This turret retargets to the Scorpion Tank, so really nice micro there from terRror to stop the turret from dealing with the tank. We start from the Chem Warriors. And now, taking down, it's the first APC. Orca coming out is going to get rid of these, not get rid of the Scorpion Tank, but nearly will. These just low HP Scorpion Tanks are going to remain a liability here for terRror because these missiles coming out just need one shot each, and that's going to clear them. One goes down, the second one goes down. And now, finally, a Banshee coming out as well. This is going to be pretty good, and terRror's looking actually quite good for this missile. He's got map control. This Chem Warrior here's about to go down. He needs to, you know, refresh it. It's got 1 HP. It will eventually lose to these dogs. He's going to have to be very careful. Orca gets on that far left and stalls the missile, though. Banshee will clear it down. Dogs move on to that top pad, unfortunately. And here we go. We've got that single HP missile, so, you know, Sweat's got to be careful. If you lose that back pad, he might lose the game. And here we are. Chem Warrior's coming up. He's going to clear that missile. He needs to get a block here, but the Pitbull is going to move underneath, get onto that pad. See another block here. Chem Warriors need to move over to the far right. Can he do it? No. The dog's hit on there. It doesn't matter, though. The single dog can't make it in time, and terRror comes back with a second missile victory. And now we're pushing this to a 3-missile game once again. terRror doing a fantastic job. So I think so far, you know, we haven't seen snipers really coming out. Sweats has been relying on his war dogs to try and clear these Chem Warriors, and that's so far been the biggest issue, right? These Chem Warriors tend to get a lot of value because of the fact that Sweats is just not clearing them in time. And nice! There we go. See that Catalyst Missile comes out. Good value there. Takes down the APC in 2 clouds, so that worked out quite well. And so far, like I said, Sweats just has not built his snipers. I'm very surprised to see this because that is his best answer to these Chem Warriors. So right now, like, Orca gets some damage off on that Scorpion Tank. Of course, he can't fully clear it. It only does 2,000 damage per volley, with the Scorpion Tank having 2197 health. So it doesn't clear it in one shot, but those snipers did manage to clear it up with those missiles to support. And, you know, we're almost down to this 3rd missile, and terRror, he might be able to claw back here and force a game 3. Can he do it? The snipers do move on to that far pad, and that's going to be very bad there. The Scorpion Tank will hold against him. He's got all 3 pads. Orca's not going to move in time. Banshee will win that 1v1, and there it is! All right, terRror coming back with a 3rd missile, winning game number 2, forcing game 3 in this series. Excellent gameplay. Well, terRror. How about that? You came back and won one.
So I don't hate to be ashamed anymore.
That's right. See, I told you, terRror, you just got to believe in yourself a little bit more, and you're gonna have no issues. That was a really good game. I think the biggest issue there, of course, was the fact that Sweats never built snipers. Right, like the snipers is what he needed. He had nothing else to reliably remove those Chem Warriors. War dogs do terrible DPS. I mean, they do, like, I can't remember what it is. It's like 50 or 60 damage per second. It's very, very low. Just for comparison's sake, riflemen do 110. So, you know, in terms of removing a unit like Chem Warriors, which have 620 health each, you do a little math there. It takes a long, long time. So yeah, he really needed to get those snipers in sooner. Unfortunately, they didn't, but hey, you know, that works out well for you, terRror. You are going to go into a game 3 because you played that really well, and we might see a victory from you here.
It was a little bit the fight of the 2 beefs.
It really was. Yeah, the Chems versus the APC.
Like APC beefs, and I have Chems.
That's true.
Beef.
Well, and you know, you got a nice Catalyst Missile off on one of those APCs, which that's one of the benefits of running Jade against APC, is at least it will explode twice with 2 clouds. So that means you can clear the APC as well as the missiles underneath. So that worked out really well for you. And I got to say, your Catalyst Missile gameplay has been really good so far. All right, so we've got the next game up. terRror, is it okay if I just take 1 minute? I just need to go grab a glass of water, and then I'll be right back. Is that okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just be right back, guys. Just be a second.
We are still waiting for Swiss to join. He's probably going to bring Avatar again. So let's see. Or maybe he's just thinking about something new. he will surprise me.
All right, thank you for that. Looks like we don't have our player in ready yet, so that worked out well for me. Oh, and I see you changed the alliance name. Oh, that's awesome.
I was just saying that he's maybe trying to surprise me.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be a surprise, right? If he maybe ran something that you've never seen before. And, you know, thinking about it now, I think that could be a really strong tool, right? Like if you go through that entire round robin, let's say you played any one of 3 decks, and you had this 4th deck waiting in the wings, this would be a great time to pull it out, you know, because they would definitely have that wow or that surprise factor. But it looks like we got Sweats here in the match, so go ahead and start the match when you're ready, terRror.
Okay, let's go. Let's finish it.
Establishing battlefield control.
And here we are, another game 3 in this great tournament. It's been just fantastic so far, and I hope you all have been enjoying it. I know I have been. And yeah, so here let's take a look. So Sweats here playing an interesting deck. You know, this is actually a pretty standard deck that we see. The only thing here though is he's running Chem Buggy instead of Scorpion Tank. That is the typical deck list that you see. Scorpion Tank instead of Chem Buggy. But so that means he might suffer against. You know, he's gonna have a lot of trouble getting rid of those tanks. Tanks are very, very good against stealth tanks. And of course, he's got Banshees as well. The Banshees will go down to the stealth tanks, but it's actually going to be a pretty difficult match here. Chem Warriors are really good against Fanatics, so I'm really surprised to see Sweats bring those out. You know, as long as terRror continues to build Chem Warriors, Fanatics plus Wheels are going to have a difficult time removing them. They do an okay job, but it's a struggle. So far, Sweats doing a pretty good job here. We got pretty equal openers from both players. Of course, terRror opens War Factory, so does Sweats. And now we got terRror coming out, and they're both coming out with their heavy anti-infantry. The Chem Warriors are going to win, of course, and he's going to try and get a block with the bikes, which he does. But now, finally gets his Chem Warriors in front of the Fanatics and starts dealing damage to them. They're going to go down very quickly. He doesn't have the wheels in time to get there. And that single HP Fanatics is going to go down to those wheels, of course. Kane Tower comes up under the first missile, which is a bit of a surprise. Had to save a lot of money for that, and I don't think it's going to pay off, because this Weasel here will be able to block for days, but lasers do get on there finally. However, nice Chem Warriors on the far right means that terRror, with all 3 pads, secures that first missile. And overall, that was a pretty well-played missile from both players. I think the tower, though, was very greedy play. 110 Tiberium in the first missile is a ton of money. And, you know, he could have spent that on any number of things. I think a stealth tank would have been far better. Cleared those wheels in a bit more realistic time. Or even some Fanatics and wheels to take care of the Chem Warriors in that top right. But, again, this is one of the problems with running Fanatics against Chem Warriors, is that Chem Warriors just do a pretty good job. And Sweats is going to really have to rely on this Chem Buggy, which I think the reason he's put it in his deck is for the Chem Warriors, but he's going to have to heavily rely on it to take care of them in an efficient amount of time. And again, once, you know, terRror with these Chem Warriors getting really good value, shutting down lasers, which means that his tanks are going to get tons of value. Another all those coming down. It's in range of the Scorpion tank. Looks like he's going to one-shot it, and oh no, instead targeted the Chem Warriors. A bit of a mismicro there from him, but doesn't matter. All he needs to do is block this Chem Buggy. However, unfortunately, he doesn't get the block with the Chem Buggy, and it gets onto the path. The single laser goes down to the Scorpion tank, and of course, with the bikes in tow, he's got 3 squad members which will survive against this tower, and it looks like he's got it. terRror takes 3rd missile, game number 3, and the series. Well, terRror, you know, maybe you were the underdog in this match, but I gotta say, you played that exceptionally well. I think you deserved that victory. I was expecting some sort of a stomp here from Sweats, but I think his deck choice there at the end was the wrong thing. I'm surprised he brought Fanatics to the Chem Warrior fight, because that made it even easier for you to get value out of them. So I think that's really where he fell short. And also that obelisk in the first missile was a bit of a misplay, but generally speaking, you know, terRror, you did a great job, and Sweats played really well too. I think I can see why you have so much trouble with him. He's got great micro, but again, the decks really did play a big role in this match.
Yes, I was actually trying to blast his base.
Right,
But
yeah.
Maybe.
That can be a tough thing to pull off on a map like that with a pad on the bottom, because if you don't have control of that pad, it can be very difficult to get into position against the base, but...
I was actually in very good position for blasting his base, because I have had 2 hems.
Right.
On the bottom pad. and he has like lasers and wells, which wasn't threat for me, but the hand buggy stopped me.
Yeah, and that's what we saw there right at the end. Like it looked like you were going to push up, but then the Chem Buggy came there towards the end and cleaned it up. And you know, looking at Swess's deck, I think that's the reason why he put Chem Buggy in there, because it's a pretty odd list with Chem Buggy. But I think he specifically put it in there so we have an option for Chem Warriors. But again, it didn't really work out for him. So, but great game overall. That was really fantastic. Another 3-game series. That was great. So I guess terRror, this means that we're going to be moving into the semifinals now. Which match are we going to showcase first? Is it going to be Popes versus Adam?
Yes.
Perfect.
The first match is Popes versus Adam, and the next is Ordeal versus myself.
Fantastic. Well, this is going to be a great series, guys. Again, all the series are the same, so it's best of 3, single elimination. With random maps. And, you know, so these are the 2 top seeds from the round robin. Popes and Adam both went 9-1 during the entire month of August. So this is where the rubber's going to meet the road. These 2 players are very, very good. I don't know how well they know each other. They've probably played each other well enough over the last month, but who knows? Maybe they're going to pull out some surprises. Because I got to say, that the first series with Adam versus Swampert, there were a lot of different decks being pulled out by Adam, so I'm not sure what to expect in this one. What are your thoughts?
To be honest, I don't know what's Adam's favorite unit, and I think they are both from the same alliance.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, then they must definitely know each other. I would say for sure they do. So that makes this all the more interesting. This is the kind of stuff that you really want to see in a competitive format. You want to see 2 top players duking it out that know each other. That's where the real exciting matches happen. So this is going to be a great series, guys. This is going to be a good one to sit in for. Oh, Kenny's asking for a bracket link. Did you want me to put the Google Doc link into chat, terRror? Or Ordeal's got it, I guess. It's a pretty small format anyways. It's just 8 players doing a best of 3 single elim, so it isn't like a big double elimination bracket or anything like that. But yeah, the matches are going to be Adam versus Popes and then Ordeal versus terRror.
Yes, we have had like 10 rounds of the group.
Right. Yeah.
During the whole August, so it's just like grand finale or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, everybody, I hope you're enjoying the tournament so far and all the great action. I hope the production's been good too. I just want to send a quick thank you again to the Czech Slovak team, and specifically Adam for putting together these great assets. Doesn't the stream just look fantastic? And of course, terRror as well for joining me and for helping with the administration of the tournament and for putting it together. Like I say, these are the kind of things that make this game exciting, and so it's really great when people get together and make something happen. So hats off to you guys. Oh, terRror's posted the Google sheet in there. It's not the fanciest thing, but hey, it'll give you the information you're looking for. Oh, and we got the game ready.
I was planning to use a challenge for it, but I'm
right.
not very familiar with it.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, so the game is up. We're just waiting for the first player to join. As soon as that happens, we'll jump in. But yeah, I haven't seen Popes play out. None of us have, because he got that bye in the first round. So this is going to be a brand new experience for me. Do you know what Popes likes to play?
Again, please.
Oh, sorry. Do you know what kind of decks that Popes likes to play?
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, let's find out. Why don't you go ahead and start the game?
Yes. Let's just find out. We are ready. Ready, and let's start it.
Establishing battlefield control.
All right, here we go. The first series of the semifinals. We got the 2 giants of the round robin facing off against each other. Adam versus Popes.
2, 1.
And let's take a quick look at these decks. All right, well, for the first time, we're seeing the Catalyst Gunship make an appearance, which is really great to see. Catalyst Gunship and Shade should actually be pretty good against the APC deck that Adam has brought. What do you think of these decks here, terRror?
Yes, I was just about to say that we haven't seen Catalyst gunship yet, and here it is.
Finally, right? I love the cat ship myself. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think I think after the most recent balance patch, it's quite a strong unit, and it's kind of difficult to see if it's overpowered or not. I don't know yet. The jury's out on that, but it's great either way.
I don't like it because it's tearing apart hems very quickly.
Oh, it does. Yeah, 2 shots them, in fact. And if Catalyst Gunship is, I think it's like 1 level up, it'll 1-shot them, which is just disgusting. All right, well, we're coming down to this first missile here. Adam looking quite good. He's got good map control. Of course, that Talon there is going to be able to only secure pads. Catalyst Gunship going to come out the first one. He's going to try and move over to that far left, but nice movement on those rifles and Talon on that top pad. Strong arm turret coming down. The Rifleman can't move into a position to get out of the way of it, so it's great placement from him. But here we go. The Catalyst Gunship does get a shot off on those missiles, and now it's coming down. Talon moves over, but isn't enough. That single bike nearly goes down to the turret, but it just lives long enough for Popes to take his first missile.
I think that free rifleman was quite misplay, but he managed it.
Yeah, you know, that's one problem, right? Like, when I know I face that a lot in my time playing Rivals, is sometimes you overinvest in a unit, and 100%, right? Because all it took was 1 Talon, you know, to shut all of that down. So, yeah, I gotta agree with you. I think that was a bit of a misplay.
Unit ready.
Well, so we've got a Shade coming out here, and, you know, it doesn't have any targets so far. It looks like it's going to go after the Pitbull. Yep, there it is. Does take it down in 1 volley. Of course, it did have just a little bit of less health, so it does go down to 1 full volley. 2 bike volleys, but only 2 bikes each, so Talon does live with just a sliver of health. Now does finally go down. The turret here doing a pretty good job. He isn't placing it in, you know, in the middle lane there, which is where it can go to really block it, but so far getting pretty decent value out of it, just taking care of these bikes. And you know what? Like, I gotta say here, Adam is really fighting back here. These Pitbull's doing a pretty good job. He does need to make sure that Catalyst Gunship doesn't get a cloud down, otherwise it will be able to take care of Pitbulls reliably. And here we are. Second missile coming down to it. These Talons move up to the top pad, and the Catalyst Gunship, 2 of them are securing those 2 pads very reliably. Talon does take it down eventually. Nice flip with Talon on the far left, and there it is. Oh, wait a minute. No, the bikes get there, but doesn't matter. Oh my god, the flips. That's just crazy. But finally, bikes move over, and the Talon and the Pitbull can move over to the far right. So there it is. Popes takes the second missile and throws a Kane emote. You'll love to see it.
I think Kenny is pleased now.
Oh, he should be. that was a great emote. The Kane emotes are pretty spicy, I gotta say. You gotta love that.
I think that Atom could punish him for free militants a little bit more with pop capping him.
Yes.
To use Talon to pop cap him and then just take the missile.
Yeah, that is one of the ways to punish somebody for overcommitting on a squad-based unit like that. Is, yeah, just take them down to like 1 or 2 squad members, and then, you know, at the very end of the missile, pop out a Talon, clear him, and then steal the missile. And, you know, it nearly happened there. I mean, my god, that missile flipped back and forth 3 times. And it came down to just basically getting those bikes into position, and right at the end there, he just could not get a Talon to that far right, so it was a very close game overall. All right, so that means we're going to move into game number 2 of the semifinals.
Yes.
And again, it's all the same for every single match, so going to be random maps again. And I don't know, Adam does like to change decks, but there's a few it seems like he's very comfortable with, so we'll see if he decides to change things up. To try and take a game off of Popes here. But yeah, with random maps, really hard to say. Like, what do you change into, right?
Yes, you have to improvise very often with the random map, and then
yeah, for sure.
So you just choose the deck that you very well know.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because I guess playing a deck, even though it may be not so great for the map, but if you know how to play the deck, that might be better than playing a deck that you don't know very well on a good map. You know what I mean? It's so hard to say, though. I think some maps could be like an auto loss. Like, imagine getting, I don't know what I'm trying to think of here. Like MSV Fortress with Cracked Ice, for example, right? Cracked Ice has the 3 pads all spread out very far, so, you know, something like that could happen, but who knows? This is Rivals after all. You know, you never really know what's going to happen until the end of the game, so.
But when you have the closed map, when you know the map, then you often experiment a lot. And
That's true.
That can cost you game because you choose the units that you don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we do see that sometimes. Like I think some people like to try and bring different different decks to try and change things up, try to surprise their opponent a little bit. But you're 100% right. Like if it's not something you're well practiced with, or you don't know how to play it properly, like imagine being an aggro player trying to play double Harv and you've never done it before. Well, the game plays out very differently. So that's something you have to be comfortable and know what to expect. So yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like if you play a deck that you're just not practiced with and it has a specific game plan like that, for sure, that could happen.
Okay, so we have both players here. Let's go.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Establishing battlefield control.
And here we are with game number 2, and let's take a look and see what these decks are. We got Adam with Seth and Pope's here with Oksana again. And let's have a look. So Popes has changed the units in his deck a little bit. He's still running pretty well. It's very similar, except he's got Chem Warriors in there and Catalyst Gunship. So he's going to try and use the Chem Warrior combination to get more value out of the Catalyst Gunship. And here Adam has switched over into Fnatic Aggro, but instead running Banshee versus Phantom. You know, and I gotta say, I think generally speaking, Phantom would probably be better here just because of the fact that Stealth Tank is going to one-shot the Banshee no matter what. And at least with Phantom, you might be able to get more value out of it, but still hard to say. Both players do have Stealth Tank, so that just may be what it comes down to.
I'm not sure about Chem Warriors and Cat Sheep.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Like obviously obviously it's a combination, right? Because you know every cloud that gets put down the Cat gunship fires will explode and do extra damage, especially to vehicles. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. It's a difficult combination to pull off reliably, especially on a map like this where you've got 2 pads where you're constantly cycling between the 2 of them. He might be able to get a Chem Warrior and catch up onto 1 pad and then shut everything down, but so far we're not really seeing that happen here. We've got this nice laser wall built up though by these Catalyst Gunship, you know, and it's doing a really good job of maintaining value. Of course, these Flame Troopers do get in there in time. They move away from the laser troops, so that was a really good micro from him to make sure they didn't get shots while the drop pod came up. But now, clearing that Catalyst Gunship, another one gets onto that top pad. We got set 4 bikes there at the top, so should be able to clear it in time. Depends on if it's going to get a cloud down and clear one of these squads, and doesn't matter. The bikes got their missiles off just in time. This Catalyst Gunship is not going to be... Oh, no, wait a minute. Might be able to clear in 1 shot. Oh, look at that. Really nice timing on that cloud, and managed to clear the bikes in 1 shot. And because this is a 2-pad map, we're seeing a lot of back and forth here, and so far it's not going to be too easy to tell who's going to take this first missile, but both players fighting really hard. That Catch-Up on the bottom once again getting another cloud off. And now that he's got both Catch-Up and the Chem Warriors and that top pad cleared, there it is. Popes takes that first missile. So I gotta say, I think a big problem there for Adam is that he just lost fighting power. Like, he didn't really have a good way of beating these Cat-Ships in time. And I think the way the missiles work out is for Catalyst Gunship, it takes 7 missiles from bikes, so that's 3 full volleys essentially to clear it. So because of that, it seemed like Adam just had a lot of trouble clearing them in time.
Yes.
So now we've got Popes really trying to go after the base. He doesn't have Jade in his deck, so of course he's not going to go for a base kill. But he's done a really good job here just pushing him up against his base anyways. And now that's allowed him to get map control. Here he has both pads secured. He should be moving that Chem Warrior down towards the chems though. Towards the gunship, sorry. But it looks like it's working out quite all right. Takes care of those lasers very quickly. Stealth Tank's going to clear in 1 shot, though. Boosted Stealth Tank comes up from behind, clears it. Nice play there from Popes. Really good boost. And, of course, now the missile's just about to fire. All he needs to do is block this bottom pad and the top pad. And, well, I think that's going to be an easy second missile for him. And there it is.
I was just about to say that it's very, very sad that Popes is not playing Jade and he could drop the base.
It looked like, you know, it's almost like it looked like he forgot that he was playing Oksana because he had Chem Warriors up against the base, and Adam was just like, oh no, and he built a bunch of wheels to block it from touching the base. Maybe not realizing that it was Oksana that he was playing against, but I agree. I would have loved to have seen a base kill. That would have been great. That would have been great, but... Well,
I don't think that we will see base kill here because it's very hard to do base kill against player that's close to your skill.
It is, yeah, because typically the fight's on the pads, not against the base. It's generally only when, you know, you've completely dominated the game that you have full map control that happens. So, yeah, in games like close games like this, you're right, it is tough to pull it off. But man, Popes, that was the first series that went only 2 games. Can you believe it? And it was between the 2 top seeds. That's unexpected. But Popes moves on to the finals. So now it comes down to, let me see, it's terRror versus Ordeal. All right. Well, terRror, what are your thoughts going into this match? Or terRror's probably just busy here getting some things set up. But, you know, so we saw Ordeal play against Daffo, and he did a pretty good job. I'm trying to remember the decks he was playing, and I actually can't remember. terRror, do you know what kind of strategies Ordeal likes to play? Oh, we might have lost him, actually. Are you still there, terRror?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, that's all right. I just wanted to make sure we didn't lose you on the connection there.
I was just thinking.
Adam says Popes is his nemesis. Well, based on how those games went, yeah, I would say that's true. Those were tough games for you, Adam. I mean, based on your first series, I was surprised. Just in terms of how you lost 2 in a row. I really expected another 3-game series. But, you know, again, one of the problems with random maps is that you tend to play something you're comfortable with. And as a result of that, you can get really hard countered by the right deck. So I think that was part of the equation. But overall, they were a great series. Really great to watch. But yeah, this is we're actually moving towards the end of the tournament here. So already one semifinal match has been concluded. We're about to move into the second one, and then it's the finals, and then that'll be it. Now, terRror, I do know that there are some participant prizes. Did we perhaps want to do one of those right now?
Well, I was thinking about this, but the winners are going to get vanity prize, so let's do it at the end, so
sure.
we can kick the winners out of the random selecting.
Sure, that sounds good.
So they don't get vanity.
Right. Well, because they're guaranteed to get something already, like you said, so that makes perfect sense. All right, well, that sounds good then. And sorry, what we were talking about there, for anybody wondering, is there's some prizes to be given to the participants of the tournament. Not for viewers, unfortunately, but yeah, so for the participants are going to win something, which is nice.
Well, we did not expect any viewers when we started it, and so we didn't think about this.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So they did they come and offer to you, or?
But maybe the next tournament we will do some viewer prizes.
For sure, absolutely. Well, nonetheless,
Okay,
I think we're ready to go, terRror. So whenever you want to start the match, go ahead.
Okay, let's go.
You love the alliance name here. We got terRror versus Ordeal, and terRror with a terRror. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's great. You love to see the camaraderie from his alliance mates rallying his friend on. But here we are. We're going to be playing up against Ordeal, and this could be an ordeal for terRror to play against. But anyways, let's have a look at these decks here. So we got Ordeal playing the Mutant Marauder Chemical Buggy deck. A very common deck here. This is a classic list. I think SRPSS was one of the first players to really champion that deck. And then here we got from terRror. He's playing his classic. This is the same deck that he's been playing the whole tournament so far, which is this Chem Warrior deck, but he's running a War Factory opener, which is pretty common when you have Chem Warriors. Now, between these two decks, of course, with Ordeal, he does have Chem Buggy in his deck, so he's got a reasonable answer to the Chem Warriors, but like we saw in that other series with terRror, you know, the Chem Buggy does an okay job against Chem Warriors, and it is a pretty reasonable answer, just because of the fact that it is basically it's a hard counter. The truth is, the Chem Cloud that gets put down doesn't actually do any damage to the Chem, so Chem Buggy does do less damage than it normally does to the infantry, so that's one of the reasons that it's not quite as efficient, but either way here, terRror doing a pretty good job here. He's got the Chem Warriors out on the top left dealing with those lasers, and of course he just needs to take this bottom pad, which he very easily will. The Mutant Marauders boost aren't going to do a whole lot. He swept his Chem Warriors up to that far right just to secure and get all three, and very easily, almost didn't take down that missile. That Mutant Marauder nearly took down that bike at the very end there, and almost did, but terRror did survive just long enough to take that missile, so we're really great to him. Now, does this mean that terRror is going to try and go for a base kill. You would really love to see it, but like terRror was saying in the previous match, against players that are so evenly matched, like we see here, it's pretty difficult to pull off. And we're here on a map where there's 2 pads in between the 2 bases, so it's going to be pretty difficult to get him up there for a base kill. So now we got Ordeal moving through the bottom, sneaking those Mutant Marauders. He's actually going to force terRror to move his Harvester away. However, that second Mutant Marauder squad comes in. It's going to start taking care of that Harvester with a boost. It's actually going to do pretty good damage. One of the squad members goes down. Warriors are coming there to protect it. It does get the Harvester kill, though. And although that's not super important, it does mean that terRror doesn't have enough money in the bank to go for a Catalyst Missile. So as far as a safety plan, I say that's good for Ordeal. But here we are, these Warriors get lined up against these Mutant Marauders, doing a really good job here. He was going to be able to clear them in time, which means the Buggy needs to try and get onto a pad. Mutant Marauders coming from the far left. Warriors can't move to block it, and they're going to get onto the pad here. Will eventually lose 1v1 against the Warriors. Will take a while because the Mutant Marauders have so much health. But finally, there it goes. Warrior doesn't get on. Oh, nice block there. Almost gets it. However, the Scorpion tank moving off the pad. Unfortunate because he could have blocked the Buggy and took it, but never mind. There it is. terRror does secure the bottom pad and takes the missile. The game is frozen right now, guys. I apologize. The audio hasn't finished yet. It's because I'm connecting from a faraway server, but the game did finish. But wow, terRror, really great gameplay from you. I think I was saying throughout the match, would have loved to see a Catalyst Missile, but you were right. I mean, this was a pretty difficult opponent for you to try and pull that off on, so it didn't take place. But great map control. Great. Those Warriors did a fantastic job. I think for Ordeal, he just kept getting the wrong matchups. He kept throwing Mutant Marauders at Warriors by accident. Just didn't get there in time.
I think that when I saw the bikes, I was like, is he trying to rush me?
It almost seemed like that, didn't it?
But now I think that he changed his deck and just misclicked the bikes.
I think you're right. Yeah, because I was wondering about that. I'm like, I'm not so sure. But, you know, it worked out pretty well in general. That first missile was pretty tough for him because of that. Like, he really didn't want to go War Factory. Well, I mean, opening lasers, though, kind of sucks. But I think you're right. I think he wanted to go wheels instead of the bikes.
I have been trying to open lasers, but it never worked for me.
No, it really doesn't, because as soon as riflemen pop out, it's, you know, you're just going to lose so much value. And you're going to fall far behind. So, I mean, you see laser openings down in, like, Diamond League, but generally after that, well, maybe even in Masters, but generally after that, you know, you don't see it too often because, yeah, it just does not work. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think he really did want to open wheels, and the bike was probably a misclick there, especially on that map. Like, there's just so much space there, and it takes a long time for bikes to get over to the other side, so. But, well, terRror, I mean, hey, you're doing a pretty good job. You might make it to the finals. You might even win your own tournament here. We'll see.
Well, I wasn't planning this. I was planning to get out in the first round and then just focus on this administration and casting.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was your game plan, but it seems that you're just doing too well, which is great. Which is great. You're doing very well. So.
Guys are not cooperating with me.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys. Come on, you got to hard counter me here. All right, well, terRror, we've got our players ready to go, so whenever you want to start, go ahead.
Okay, let's go.
Czech Slovak SE, love it. All right, folks, here we are. Game number 2 of our second semifinal match between terRror and Ordeal. It looks like terRror is going to be playing the exact same deck. He's really enjoying this Jade deck, and that is pretty much what he plays most of the time. And yep, exact same list here from both players, in fact. But here we are on Fighting Pit, and you know, Fighting Pit is actually pretty decent for combined arms decks, just because you can get the two of them close together with the pads all close to the middle. But, you know, having said that, I don't think the two decks have a serious advantage over one another, just based on the map. So it should be a much like that first match we saw. What it's really going to come down to is the difference in strategy between these two. And as we see here, Ordeal's already changed his game plan, opening wheels first. Same mirror here from terRror. He's going to open double bikes and try and win the early bike game. He's going to get 5 bike missiles off on that 3-bike squad, but of course the fresh bike squad on that top right is going to clear the missiles, the bikes. So it looks like Ordeal's going to win this early bike game. Which will force terRror into going to his infantry, which he has. So instead of going with lasers, and I gotta say, I really like this, he went into Warriors instead. Now, of course, Chem Warriors are not going to win against the bikes. They do decent vehicle damage, but unfortunate though, he does get Ordeal gets a Chem Buggy out in time. He's got all 3 pads here. He's going to be able to hold them very easily. The laser on that bottom left, will they clear it in time? No. They need 2 shots per bike. Couldn't get that second shot off before the missile fired. That meant Ordeal wins that first missile. So as we move into the second missile here, terRror did drop a missile, which was a bit surprising. You know, that first game he won, it was 2 missiles in a row, so a little bit less successful for him here, and it could just simply be because Ordeal had a better early game. Ordeal does get that Harvester kill again, like last game. It's going to shut down terRror from being able to use Catalyst missiles, because that's going to be very expensive for him to pull off without a Harvester going. Does get another Harvester built, so it's going to take some time to get there. Mutant Marauders are coming in hot, though, and they might be going after it. It looks like he's got his boost ready to go, and he's going to go after it, but no, instead, he's just moved it down. He's going to lose some value here against these Chem Warriors, which is a bit unfortunate. Chem Warrior moves in to stop and protect those Mutant Marauders, which is great. It's very, very low health, though, so even if he did try to face them against Chem Warriors, they could actually win against it, and, yep, it looks like it's very close. Got a sliver of health here, doesn't shoot off on it, and, oh man, there it is. But so far, Ordeal taking both of these pads on the bottom, which is working out very well. These Chem Warriors aren't just getting as much value as they did in the first game. Ordeal doing a better job here of lining up his units and getting that combined arms value. And now he's got all 3 pads. terRror's not going to be able to push, and there it is. Second missile goes to Ordeal, forcing game number 3. Well, that was an exciting game. Quite a difference over game number 1, and I think Ordeal just did a better job of making sure to get his game plan underway, which was the Chem Buggy Mutant Marauder combination. Like I was saying towards the beginning there, the fact that the pads were closer together meant that it was easier for him to put them together and maintain value out of them, and that's pretty much what happened. The Chem Warriors on their own just really couldn't do enough, and you know, you really need to get more value out of the tanks in order to shut them down, but it just couldn't happen. So it was well played by Ordeal there, and he did end up falling a little bit short terRror, but still, it was a good fight either way.
Yes, I think that the Harvester kill was something that just nailed me.
Yeah, like against a Jade deck, usually it doesn't matter that much, but against, you know, your kind of a deck, when you don't have your commander power available to you, because now you've lost so much money, you can't really split it between your units and a Catalyst missile, so you gotta continue to pump out units, and yeah, I think you're right. I think the Harvester kill did play a role in his victory there.
And the Chem Warriors are very expensive unit.
Yeah, 60 Tiberium, it's a lot. You don't think about it, right? Because you see the range of cost of units in the game, which goes from 0 to 250. And 60 doesn't sound like a lot, but in a game where you're not really looking to close it out in the late game, 60 Tiberium adds up, especially on a single Harv. And as you saw there, as soon as the economy shut down, it was very difficult for him to continue to pump that out. So but yeah, overall, really exciting game. You know, and we're going to see another 3-game series. Only so far 1 series in this tournament has gone to 2 games. So that's been really exciting. Just goes to show how close these players are to each other. So that's been really great to see.
I think we could do some vanity randoms before the final.
Sure, sounds good.
Because we have set the people that are not eligible for it.
Sure.
So we just give some prizes.
Sounds good to me. All right, terRror. Well, I think if you're ready to go ahead and start the match when you're ready.
And when I'm thinking about that matchup, I think that I could blast the Catalyst missile somewhere there. It was lots of clouds.
That would be, you know, I hope you can pull that off in this game, because that is one of my favorite things in Rivals is a giant Jade Catalyst missile explosion. So I hope you can pull that off in this game. That'd be great.
Okay, let's try it.
Establishing battlefield control.
All right, here we are, guys. It's game number 3 in this best of 3, and this is it. Whoever wins this is going to move on to the finals and play against Popes for that sweet number 2 and number 1. And so here we are. We've got terRror playing, again, the same deck. He's not changed the deck at all throughout this entire match, or into the entire tournament. And Ordeal here has changed gears quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but he's decided to go with Centurion Tech Splash instead of running, say, something like Stealth Tank, which is really, really interesting, but I don't know. I think The Stealth Tank didn't really do much for him in the last game, I suppose. And Centurion can do a pretty good job with the Chem Buggy in behind it. So I do like the Centurion plan. I actually like Centurion as a unit in general, so I'm happy to see it regardless. Will it give Ordeal the victory here? That is going to be the question. All right, well, so far, this early game is going to Ordeal. He's getting good positioning on these bikes and winning those matchups. He gets a good volley off on those 2 bikes. Now he's going to move over and deal with them. Lasers do come out from terRror. Nice tech switch from him. He is going to have to rely on them, but so far he's not being able to push up on these pads. Kemba coming in from behind is going to get some good value against the lasers. And so far, like I say, terRror's just not able to get there. So he moves the Chem Buggy back. That single bike will go down to the bikes, and he really pushed onto the pads in time, and no, in fact, he can't. Again, terRror not being able to get to a quick option for the pads just allows him, doesn't allow him to win that missile. So great for Ordeal, but not so good for terRror. And especially as a Jade player, you do want to win that first missile so that you can immediately go over to the base and blow it up. Because as you see here, the top pad is close enough to the base that if you secure it, you won't have much trouble getting there. All right, well, terRror making a bit of a comeback here. We saw Ordeal slowing down just a bit. He decides to swap into his Mutant Marauders, finally getting his combination online. This is his win condition and the way his deck plays out, so this is great for him now. And so far, the single Chem Warrior is not doing a whole lot. Banshee coming out as well to take care of the Chem Buggy, and it's a pretty decent unit. Of course, it's great as a unit role. Does deal damage to vehicle and air in one unit, but the unfortunate thing is it's just a bit slow and clunky, so it's hard to get value out of it. Now we see here, Chem Buggy coming out, will be able to deal with this Chem Buggy. He needs to retarget to the lasers on the far right. Single bike comes up from behind, and he's not going to be able to secure these missiles. Mutant Marauders clear the bikes on the far left, and Banshee coming in is going to stall the missile for just a bit longer, but the Banshee's going to clear that top Chem Buggy, stalling it one more time. terRror's clawing for his dear life here. He really needs to try and come back. He gets those Chem Warriors as a beefy unit to hold pads. He's going to move it down to the bottom. Banshee's going to move over to the far right, I assume, and he's going to stall the missile just a little bit longer. Now he's got favorable matchups, which means terRror's in a really good position here to steal this missile. Can he get the block on that bottom pad? Oh, just about. Doesn't, but clears that top pad, and it looks like he's got this. All right, terRror coming back with a second missile, and here we are. This is game 3, guys. This is the 3rd missile. This is do or die. Whoever wins this missile moves on. So now we see Ordeal does have his Temple of Nod built. He's going to be getting into his Centurion game plan pretty soon. He decides to go for a Chem Buggy just to start off with, and unfortunate for him, I don't think a Centurion would be a good idea because of this Banshee, so goes into the bikes instead. Good call. These Banshees, though, are doing a pretty good job. I mean, Banshee's not really a great meta unit on ladder, but in certain situations it can be quite good, and we're seeing that here. So now with these Banshees coming out in good numbers, of course the bikes are doing an okay job against it, and I'm surprised to see Ordeal just not building any lasers. Of course the Chem Warriors would do a great job of shutting those down, so that could be why. But here, a Catalyst Missile coming down, it's going to get a ton of value, getting rid of a little bit too much there actually, and it might be what loses him the game. He needs to get onto these pads, and just about does. Oh, so close. Very unfortunate there at the end. That Catalyst Missile cleared too many of terRror's own units, nearly getting a great play, but it was a beautiful Catalyst explosion regardless, so you'll love to see that. But, well, Ordeal moves on after that exciting, sweaty Game 3. What a great series that was between you and Ordeal. I know for you, terRror, you're a little bit happy because of the fact you can focus on the tournament. But I got to say, I was really rooting for you, terRror. You're a good friend of mine, and I was really hoping you were going to come out ahead. But, wow, that was a really good gameplay from Ordeal there at the end. The Mutant Marauder and Chem Buggy combination, just a little tough to deal with for that deck.
Yes, I think that I have surprised him with the Banshee.
Yeah, the Banshee was really good in that match. Overall, it was quite strong.
But he managed to deal with it.
Yeah, it was just, you couldn't build like 3 Banshees and just rely on that, right? Like you could only have a couple out at a time. And again, the unfortunate thing about Banshee, it's a 60 cost flying unit that has the same health as a Venom, right? So it does tend to lose value very quickly, even against lasers. Lasers only need to get 6 shots off on them, so that doesn't take very long. The nice thing, though, was the Chem Warriors were shutting down the lasers, which meant your Banshees were a lot better. But yeah, it was just a little bit too weak there, I think.
Yes, but the good thing about Banshee is that it cannot be attacked by Mutant Marauders.
That's exactly. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like you can build one. Allow it to hold a pad against a Mutant Marauder. It will never kill one in a reasonable amount of time, but you're right. Yeah, it would hold against the pad very well. Okay, so terRror, I know you wanted to do it's the participant prizes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me see if I can get this up on screen. I don't know if I can. Hold on a sec. Let me just give it a try here. Just going to pull up a random number generator. Here we go. All right, so just give me a second, guys. I'm going to get this online here. Let's do this. Sorry, guys. Just give me 2 seconds. A little bit awkward here, but that's okay. Let's change it to.
Let's. The Popes is one finalist, and Ordeal is second. So let's make it a random number from 2 to 70.
2 to 17. Okay.
And if Ordeal is selected, we will try again.
All right, sounds good. Now let me see if I can get this on.
Do you have the challenge bracket?
Oh, sorry. Hold on a sec here. The production's gone all wonky here. Hold on a sec. Let me just... Oh, dear. What is happening? Sorry, guys. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm just going to fix this here just super quickly. I think I know what happened. There we go. Okay. And let's do this. It looks a little bit weird, but I think it'll work. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I do apologize. It was a little bit of a production mishap there, but all right. I've got the number generator up, so I'm going to do, let's see, we want to do from 2 to 17, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, why is it not loading for me? Oh, shoot. I'm completely messing this up, terRror. I entirely apologize. I've set it up incorrectly, so just give me... Or, you know what? I can just do it off... Hold on. Sorry, guys. Okay, let me just remove this, and then we'll just do it off stream. I'll mention it, is what I'll do. Okay. There we go. All right, so then you want me to do from 2 to 17, so let's do the first one. And it came out as 16. So that would be, I'm assuming that's, correct me if I'm wrong, is that Jaroslav?
Yes, it's Jaroslav.
All right.
Jaroslav.
So that's, and we're doing a total of 3 of these, aren't we?
Yes.
All right. So did we want to get all 3 out of the way now, or did you want to save some for the end?
I think we can do it now.
All right. Well, then let's do another one here. Get a little drum roll going here. All right. Number 2 will be...
Da-da-da.
Number 10. And that is going to be Forgotten Sloth, if that's right.
Yes.
All right, good. I'm glad I'm getting it right. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to do the final one. All right, another drum roll. Here we go. Number 3 prize is going to...
Da-da-da.
Number 9. And that is Captain Zab. Look at that.
Captain Zab.
Right on. All right, here we go. Good stuff. So I apologize about the production issues there. I should have set something up beforehand. I didn't think it was going to be that complicated. I had to set up OBS instead of Streamlabs because I had some issues with Streamlabs. So there's a few new things going on here today. I apologize, but hey, we got there. All right, so then are our players ready to do the finals?
Okay, let's just give me a sec. I'm writing it up. So we have, oops.
Well, as we move into our finals, folks, let us know what has been your favorite series so far. Which one have you enjoyed the most? They've all been really good series. Very even matches between these players. Like I was saying at the very beginning, this is a top 8, and records wise, these players are quite close to each other. The top 8 here, the lowest record is a 5-5, which is very impressive, and with the best being a 9-1. So there is a bit of a gap there, but still, I mean, we're not seeing any like 4-6s or anything like that. So Overall, these players are similar caliber, which has made this tournament really exciting, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So I hope you have too. And I think we're just about to get our first game of the finals ready to go. And oh, so slight change. We're going to be doing a best of 5, which I think is a little bit better for a finals. Of course, you do want to have the very last series be a little bit more in-depth, so I think a best of 5 is going to be great. So we're going to actually get a little bit more Rivals action for you, which is fantastic. And our first game is ready to go. Perfect. Okay. Well, terRror, here we are, the finals, the culmination, the peak of the big round robin tournament from last month is now coming to a head. What are your thoughts on this match coming up?
I'm actually very interested because Ordeal is playing the same deck.
Oh, okay.
He was playing the same deck against me all 3 games.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
And Popes is not his switching decks, so I'm really interested if that stays.
Oh, okay. Okay. I have a feeling like we've been talking about that because it's all random maps that they're just going to continue to play what's comfortable for them, but hey, it's the finals. There's some clout here on the line, so who knows? Maybe we'll see something unique come out. That would be really great.
But we have random maps, but you saw that Svez was changing decks every game, and also
yeah.
Atom and who was he playing against? Swampert?
Yeah, you're right. Throughout that series, I think they changed decks. Well, except for the very last match, Adam played that same deck, but pretty much throughout the whole thing, they were switching decks, so which is always exciting to see. But looks like our players are ready to go, so, well, whenever you're ready, terRror, go ahead and start the game.
Okay, let's go. Match number 1, final.
Establishing battlefield.
You heard it from terRror. Here we are in the finals. The first match is going to be a best of 5, so this is going to be a little bit more fleshed out, which is great. Gives both players a bit more of a chance to make a comeback here. And let's take a look at these decks. We're here on, I'm trying to remember the name of this map, and it's not Neutral Zone, it's something else. I can't quite remember, but either way, I absolutely despise this map. Coming through Diamond League and playing on this map feels the absolute worst. So, so far I would say the random maps have been actually getting pretty good maps, generally speaking. This is going to be one of the first stinkers, I think.
Yes. I hate this map in Diamond League.
Oh, it's the worst. Absolute worst. Well, and, neither deck has a real key advantage over one another. Raider units tend to do very well, of course, because of the fact that they continue to fire as they move around the missile silo, but really what's more important is holding these pads, and right now, Popes is not on the bottom pad, and he's got those, Ordeal's got the wheels, blocks the single bite coming on, and, well, there it is. Ordeal takes that first missile. Really well done
yes,
here.
I think that Popes forget about the bottom pad.
I think he did, and that's the thing about a map like this where the pads are so far apart. You could really be heavily focused on a firefight at the top and then completely forget about the bottom part of the map. So I think you're right. I think he did. And he did realize it towards the end there as the missile was about to fire, but just too little, too late. And now Ordeal getting his game plan online. Those Mutant Marauders finally coming out. Fanatics, of course, coming in tow as well. He does get that Harvester kill really nice there, and however, does lose one Mutant Marauder model in the process. But Kembug is coming up from behind. The Stealth Tank's going to be a bit of an issue, and here we're going to see a lot of units swapping back and forth, trying to make sure that the Stealth Tank doesn't get its volley off onto the Kembuggy. So going to try and really micro his units well here. And the only problem with the strategy is that he may not be able to get on the pads in a reliable amount of time, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. Now, right here, we got a good firefight happening on the bottom pad, and Pope's doing a good job of clawing his way back. He digs on that top pad with the bikes. Almost a flip from the first missile. Will that single wheel live long enough? And it does! Oh, boy, that was close. But it wouldn't have mattered, actually, because that Mutant Marauder would have died to that cloud, as we saw. So either way, Popes was going to secure that missile, even if the wheel went down. But, yeah, so far, we're going into now another third missile game. This has been really great.
Yes, but Popes didn't have the harvesters, so it was very, very...
Yeah, that is true.
For him to take this missile.
Like, here's the thing. So we got Kane from Popes, and actually Kane's pretty good on this map. You know, you throw it down in the middle somewhere, it's going to be able to block, and it will be able to get decent value. And shutting down the Harvester, Pope's Harvester, means that he's definitely not going to get to a tower anytime soon. It's kind of the same dilemma when you're playing Jade. So
Yes.
I think you're right. That has cost him pretty heavily here, and we're almost getting towards the end of this third missile here. Boosted Banshee comes out, very unfortunate because he's going to go down to those lasers, and now he needs to get on the top hat, and he's got the Mutant Marauders there to deal with the Stealth Tank, but Catalyst Missile is going to come up, and it's going to be able to win 1v1. Banshee's going to get there as well. Will it be in time? Who's going to win this missile? It's getting very close. Ordeal's going to be able to clear that Catalyst gunship, but the Catalyst gunship's going to clear the Mutant Marauder. Now the Banshee's going to win against the Catalyst gunship, winning the top hat. Kembuggy's going to live forever, and Ordeal, well, this is his game. Oh, wait a minute. No. Oh, the Banshee goes down to that cheeky Stealth Tank. However, Mutant Marauders boost to come in time, clear them, and, well, there it is. Whew, that was close there at the very end there. I thought Popes might just sneak one away from him, but Ordeal, well, great play from him. Managed to come back and win that third missile, taking the first game. Wow. Well, that was a...
very close and
very, very close. And like I was saying at the beginning there, I kind of expected that map to be played out that way because the decks from both players only had one flying unit in them each. So as far as getting to the pads in a reasonable amount of time, they both pretty well had the same effectiveness. But, well, you know, you got to really give a lot of credit to Ordeal there. The Mutant Marauder Kembuggy combination throughout this entire tournament has just been very good. So hats off to him for that.
Yes, but the Stealth Tank on the top pad, he died like in no time.
Well, the Mutant Marauders boosted just absolutely wrecked. You know, that's the thing. Those Mutant Marauders do 400 damage per shot. Stealth Tank has, actually, I don't quite remember how much health it has, but not a lot. It's not a lot of health, and the Mutant Marauders really do shoot them very quickly. So, yeah, 100%. Okay, well, as I said at the beginning, though, this is a best of 5. So, you know, Popes has got plenty of time to make up for that loss.
I'm actually wondering if Popes is going to change his deck now.
Well, that's just it, right? Like, once you drop a game, and usually in a tournament, in a match between a player, the player who's winning doesn't necessarily see a reason to switch their deck. Sometimes I've seen matches where somebody just plays the same deck the whole time and ends up winning anyways, like Lepatko with his Kembuggy deck. He's been very successful with it, and he doesn't tend to change it. But, you know, this is one of those situations, again, where Popes should try to change his deck up a little bit, because he needs to pull out a counter to that Kembuggy Mutant Marauder deck, in my opinion, because that seems to be what Ordeal wants to play. And if that's what he wants to play, well, then Popes has got an option to bring something to counter that. It just depends on if he's going to do that or not.
Yes, but the Catalyst Gunship is not really bad unit against the Marauders.
Oh no, it's fantastic for sure.
And the Kembuggy is making lots of clouds for him, so maybe he will just switch from Stank, maybe.
Could be. Well, the big issue for him, though, is that, you know, on a map like the one we just saw, on, you know, with the pads so spread apart, it's hard to get your combined units value. So maybe if he gets a more favorable map, and perhaps that could be his thinking, is that I'm going to play the same deck. It's on random maps. There's a good chance that the next map I get is not going to be a total gong show like the one we just played on. And maybe that will make it more favorable for him.
Yes, that could be. But it seems like he's thinking about something. He's not.
He must be.
Yet.
Yeah. He hasn't joined yet, but... Well, while we got a few minutes here, so I see Yuki has said hello. Hi, Yuki. Mammoths in 1. Nice to see you guys here in the chat. I hope you're enjoying the tournament. There is a minute delay, so of course, by the time I say this, it's going to be a minute past. But hello. I hope you're all doing very well.
I see that we have like 44.
Oh, great. I actually can't see the viewer count. I've never run OBS before, so I can't tell. But, oh, that's great. I'm glad you guys are here hanging out and watching the tournament.
It's quite a lot. I didn't expect it.
Oh, believe me, you know what? When there's Rivals competitive action to be had, people will come for that. It's always a good time. Also, I think terRror, this is your first appearance, is it not?
Yeah. Yes.
There we are. So isn't that exciting? Get to meet terRror for the first time.
I hope that my English is not that bad.
No, actually, you've been perfectly fine. I've been able to understand you, no issue. I'm sure everybody else has been doing okay with that too.
I'm not used to talk in English.
Well, it's good practice, right? But yeah, no, it's been great, Ter. I've been having a blast. I think you know, this is the kind of stuff I always love to see, where people are putting together these tournaments and just doing something for the community. Because at the end of the day, that's what this comes down to. We all love Rivals, but you know, we're definitely not going to be able to enjoy it just if we play the vanilla game. We got to do stuff like this, you know, have a little bit of fun with the game and get some great Rivals action in at the same time. And so far, so yeah, I mean, Popes is really taking his time. But oh, all right, looks like he's in the game. So terRror, if you want to go ahead and start the game.
Okay. That's right. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Final match number 2.
Establishing
I'm really
battlefield
interested what
control.
Popes brings up, what he's thinking about.
Yeah, I'm one, like we were talking about before the match. Is there going to be a change in decks? And oh yeah, yeah. Well, Ordeal's playing the same thing, but Popes has changed a lot. So I don't know, like, what do you think of this matchup here? Like, for me personally, so Banshee should be Phantom in this case, because Phantom is way better against Shade than Banshee is. Banshee's going to be okay, though, because he only has bikes and lasers to deal with it, so Banshee will actually be a little bit better. If there was, like, something like Stealth Tank in here, then that could be a bit problematic, but Fanatics are going to be pretty good as well, but, I mean, against a Mutant Marauder Chembuggy combination, what, who do you think comes out ahead there?
I don't think why Popes choose the Shade, because I don't think that race vehicles was the big problem for him. I think that the Mutant Marauders were much bigger problem for him. So I don't know why he went to Shade.
Well, and here we come down to the first missile. Scorpion Tank inches onto the far left pad to stall it, but the lasers are going to get there, and that low HP Scorpion Tank won't live for long. So the boosted Mutant Marauder gets onto the far right. Look at it waggling its way there. Just about just gets onto the pad, and now these bikes are trying to move over, but there's a huge wall there. They're going to try and move on at the last second there with getting rid of that wheel, but it doesn't matter. Wheel's coming in from behind Chembuggy as well. Wheel to stop these bikes from getting on the pads and survive long enough to stop 2 volleys. So this looks like it's going to be Ordeal's missile, and there it is. Yep, Ordeal taking another first missile.
Yes. I think that there was a little misplay from Popes. He tried to move his bikes, maybe misclicked them to move, and they could shot and make it stall longer.
Yeah, I don't think he remembered what was on that top pad, and Ordeal having really good positioning with the wheel and the laser squad there stopped it dead in its tracks. I mean, you know, he did clear the single wheel, but he didn't move his bikes onto the pad, and even if he had, the lasers were just going to go down, the bikes were going to go down to the lasers anyways. All right, well, we see our first Shade coming out here. It gets rid of those wheels. Not really having any other targets, but the Shade is going to be an important tool against these chem buggies, because the moment that you're able to shut down one part of the Mutant Marauder chemical buggy combination, makes it a lot easier to deal with. So if the Shade here can get good value against these chem buggies, it's possible that, you know, Ordeal might have a real tough time coming out ahead.
I'm quite surprised that the chem buggy is still alive.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's been living for days. The Shade has not gone down. I mean, Ordeal's just not trying to deal with it. And look at that. Spawned, he's camped it right at the spawn point, getting rid of those bikes pretty well. And Pope's in a very good spot here. He's got both pads. He's got the bottom one with that single Fanatic, but because he's got those 2 top pads secured, there it is. Popes comes back with the second missile. Really well done. So I think the change here was really Shade, right? Like, as soon as those chem buggies stop getting value, that's where things really become difficult. And, you know, Popes having the Shade come out at the right time, that was really fortuitous for that second missile.
Does the Shade one-shot chem buggy?
I believe it. You know, that's a really good question. I believe it does. If not, it's very, very close, like the same as like Pitbull or whatever. But I believe, yeah, I believe it does. It's within one-shot territory. But yeah, I mean, look at this. We're seeing another long game here, another 3-missile game, guys. All day, this is how it's been. It's been just fantastic. So yeah, Ordeal now switching over to Banshee to try and counter these Shades. And the first one finally goes down. Well, sorry, second one finally goes down. And he's actually, Ordeal's in a really good spot here, but these two Banshees need to start getting value against these bikes. Double bikes will take care of that Banshee. So first one goes down. The lasers are coming in from behind, so he can't push the Banshee onto the pad, but he needs to. Gets the Chem Buggy to deal with the Fanatic Shade coming in from behind. He does get the stun and clears the Chem Buggy, so this isn't looking so good. The Shade is going to be able to hold against everything, and there it is. Popes takes that third missile, coming back, winning his first game of the series. Well done.
Nice.
That was a great game. I mean, Popes really just started to swing things around, and the Shade was such a difference maker as soon as it came out. And I mean, unfortunate for Ordeal that he just didn't build answers to take care of it in time. He had bikes and lasers, but the problem was, you know, that Shade that was camped right towards the base. There was a bit of miss micro there on his bikes, and unfortunate for him, he lost a lot of value from them. So that made it very difficult to play against the Shade, and it worked very well for Popes.
Yes, but when the Banshees came out, it looked for a while that Popes has no answer for that.
Yeah, that's the other thing too is, you know, the fact that he didn't have a really strong anti-air option like Stealth Tank or Phantom, it made it really difficult to take care of Banshees. And this is one of those rare situations where Banshee's actually quite good, where, you know, when you don't have something like a really heavy anti-air unit, then Banshees are actually pretty decent. Of course, the reason they're not is because in the metagame right now, you see a lot of Phantoms and Stealth Tanks, and other, of course, GDI's got great anti-air tools too, but yeah, in that particular case, this is where Banshee can actually shine. So that means that we're going to go into a game number 3. We're not at match point just yet. Both players winning one game off of each other. So, you know, we may see a full 5-game series in this finals, which would be really great.
Do you think that we will see 5 games?
I think it's very possible. Again, it really does depend a lot on the decks that these people bring. Because Popes was really smart there with his counter to the Chem Buggy Mutant Marauder deck. He did an excellent job of being able to deal with it. The question now is, what does Ordeal do? Does he decide to change decks? Does he decide to try and counter what he just played against? I mean, I don't think Popes is going to play that same deck. I think that was an answer to what Ordeal was bringing. I really do feel like Popes is going to go back to maybe that first deck that we saw. But, well, hard to say.
Do you think that he's trying him, or he's trying to force him to change deck and to make it, and then he will go to his original deck?
Well, perhaps. And this is one of the really interesting things about tournaments and rivals when you get this kind of a thing going, is that players... Well, yeah, I mean, if we go to 5 games, that would be amazing. Because here's the thing, like, Ordeal does need to know kind of the stuff that Popes is going to bring. Because if he can anticipate the right deck, Ordeal could bring a good counter. But here we're seeing, I've got the game open now, and Ordeal's in there right away, and Popes is the one taking time to think. So he's really considering what he's going to bring. He's taking a lot of time. So we might see something totally different from him. Punisher's asking me if I'm drinking vodka. Absolutely. No, I'm kidding. Oh, vodka would be gross. Ugh. I don't mind it with orange juice, but on its own, oh, that'd be terrible.
In my country, only girls drink vodka with orange juice.
Yeah, same here, pretty much. All right, well, our players are in the game, so terRror, if you want to go ahead and start the game.
Okay, let's go. Final, which one is number 3?
Number 3, yep.
Number 3. Okay, let's go.
Establishing battlefield control.
Here we are, game number 3, and, well, Popes has made quite a change. Just from the commander alone, we've got Kane coming in, which you gotta love that, but, of course, map does make a big difference for Kane's power level. And we're here on Rorschach, which Kane is actually not bad because the tower can be placed in a reasonable position, but, oh boy, we got a bike rush here on our hands.
Or do bike rushing him?
I think so. We're here on Rorschach, which has a clear shot to the Harvesters, but, you know, everybody knows it's super easy to defend against a rush, and unfortunate for Ordeal. It's just not going to work out. However, smart for him to abandon the rush and go into the Harvester plan.
Well, but he can lose now because he's,
Unit
Well, he's certainly given up the early game, right? Like, you know, he spent 70 Tiberium getting to those bikes to begin with. And he's still going into his War Factor, so that's actually not too bad. But the Shade here, this Shade is just going to be so strong against Ordeal because he's got to rely on his War Factor. Now he has to go into lasers, and for Popes, all he needs is one catship, and he's going to be able to shut that down. So right here, again, like the Shade doing a very good job of doing what it does best. Having burst damage is extremely powerful, and being able to shut down these chem buggies has been very impactful throughout this series. And we're going to see that again here, as we see Shade about to get another volley off here, and it does one-shot. I double-checked. The chem buggy has 50 less health than the amount of damage that Shade does, so Shade does one-shot them, which is extremely important in this matchup. And now we're seeing this missile come down here. Of course, Popes is not in a great spot. He's going to try and rely on the Shades. Catship moves in to deal with these lasers, but needs to get on that far right pad. He does. He needs to move on. Oh, does he? And just in time. But of course, the lasers move in time. And but the Catship stops him. Very nice. So Shade's going to move on to the far left pad. And it looks like he's going to be able to secure this. It's getting very close. So Shade clears the bikes. And of course, the lasers on that far left. And there it is. Popes come back with his first missile.
It almost seemed like Pope is not going to make it.
It was very close. Well, those two catchips were positioned side by side on that far right and middle pad. And the lasers, if it wasn't two catchips, I think maybe the lasers might have lived long enough. It was so close there. Maybe like a split second longer, and Ordeal takes that missile. So very close. Now, as far as late game goes, here Popes has access to Phantom. Phantom will completely shut down any Banshees that come out, as we're seeing right here, which is going to give Popes a huge advantage. Triple air is extremely strong against Nod, because Nod just does not have great anti-air. As we're seeing here, Banshee just not pulling it off. All right, well, here we go. Second missile, and it looks like Popes has got this under wraps. And yeah, just threw a Cane Obelisk down for some style points. Oh man, but tough game.
Do you think that failed rush was the cause of Ordeal's lose, or was it just?
Well, so the problem was at the very beginning there, he rushed and he was basically stuck going into one building because he didn't have enough money to open up a second building. So early game it hurt him a lot. He did abandon the rush right away, built only one attack bike squad, and then lost that, built the harvester. So the impact of the rush losing isn't as huge as it normally would be if he just completely committed to it, which would have been a really bad idea because, of course, it's super easy to defend against. So I don't think it was necessarily as big of a factor as it normally is. I think in the early game it was, like that first missile for sure, because the fact is that as soon as the Shade came out, that meant that Ordeal had to tech switch, and he was short on cash, so all he could build were lasers, and then Popes already had his air tower up, so he could build that Catalyst gunship, shut down lasers very easily. So tempo-wise, in the very first missile, that went to Popes, and that's where the rush really played out poorly for Ordeal. At the second missile, though, because we're not playing with tech decks, I think that was when Ordeal could have came back. It's just he was already behind at that point, and losing a missile, you know, obviously makes it harder to win. So it was a bit of a factor. I don't think the deciding factor, though. Oh, we got our next game up already. Let me get in there.
But Ordeal failed rush, but he almost won the first missile. So
it was very close, but the Shade was just too strong, right? Because he had a chem buggy out, which he really needed to clear the two laser squads that were on the field at the time. But the chem buggy couldn't get any value because the Shade cleared it. So I think that was really the big problem. It was close, though. You're right, because he moved those lasers over with those two cat ships and nearly fought and got that first missile. But I think in the end, it was just the tech switch was a bit too strong. So let's see, that puts Popes up 2 games now, right? So we're going into game number 4, which means that Popes has match point here. This is this could be it, guys. This could be the last match of the finals, but you know, like we've seen in this match, it really does depend on the decks that we're going to see. So terRror, well, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Let's go for the match 4.
Let's do it.
Establishing battlefield
All right,
control.
folks, here we are. Game number 4 of the finals of this very exciting and great tournament. This could be match point here for Popes. Oh boy, we are here on Russian for your random map. And boy, this could really dictate how this match goes. Ordeal has decided to go with a campy style deck, running APC and Slingshot with snipers in the back. And then Popes has got Chem Warriors, Immune Marauders. I gotta say, I think Popes is a big advantage just because of the fact that he's got a flying unit here. But what do you make of this match here, terRror?
There is Slingshot, which is very good anti-air.
Building online.
And I don't see
Unit ready.
many targets for the Catalyst.
I'm on it.
That's very true. The Catalyst gunship only really has the snipers to go after. And if the Catalyst gunship gets shut down by a Slingshot, which very well could happen, I think it's a pretty reasonable counter here, then yeah, I think you make a good point that the Slingshot will do a pretty good job, and the Catalyst gunship's going to be kind of lackluster. He does have both Chem Warriors and Catalyst gunship, so he's got another Chem activator if he needs it, but let's see what happens at this first missile. So Pitbull is going to lose those Mutant Marauders, but Snipers come in hot. Those Pitbull is going to go up to that top right, but it will lose eventually, and it might just be long enough for Ordeal to take this missile. Let's have a look, and yep, alright, well, Ordeal making the right play, throwing that Pitbull up and sacrificing against the lasers does secure the missile, so well done.
That's the one thing I don't like with the Slingshot. When you go for the Slingshot, you are losing the light anti-vehicle unit.
That's right.
And when you go Slingshot and Pitbull, that just seems strange, very strange.
It does. Like, I kind of understand the reasoning. It's because you want a lower cost anti-vehicle unit, but having two anti-air units together in the same deck is a little bit of a wasted slot. It's just GDI doesn't have any cheaper anti-vehicle options, right? So, but yeah, I do think it is a little bit tough, but here we are. Pope's really fighting back. He gets all three pads. This APC is just not fast enough, and of course, it doesn't matter if the APC gets on anyways. Pope's going to take that second missile and force a third missile here.
Structural damage received. Unit ready.
So now, at this point here in the game, I really feel like Ordeal has a decent late game because of the fact that he's got APCs. APCs are going to be pretty decent against most of what Popes is running. Having said that, though, you know, terRror, I'd like to hear what you think about this, but I think the Catalyst gunship plus the Chem Warriors are likely going to be able to clear APCs pretty reliably. It just really depends on if you can get that set up, especially with this pesky Slingshot there.
Yes, but the Mutant Marauders are really good against APC. Seems like.
It is, and as we're seeing here, these snipers are getting good value because they're being well protected. Although having said that, we might see them go down here. The Catalyst gunship boosted is going to take extra damage and gets cleared by that Slingshot very quickly. And so far, nobody's really fighting for the top left or the right pad. We see a lone Pitbull on Laser Squad just sitting there for days. So there's really just a huge firefight here for the middle. And I think the moment that somebody realizes one of those top pads could be taken, that will be the moment that somebody could swing this game. But so far, we're just going to see a big fight for this middle.
Well, you see the problem with the snipers. When opponent just stops using infantry, you are like.
Oh, here we go. Nice Harvester pull on the far left to be able to secure the pad and pull another Pitbull down, and that is what wins Ordeal. The third missile. Wow, what a play. The timing on that Harvester pull combined with the movement over the far right pad. Like I was saying, whoever figured out they need to take that far right pad or far left pad first was going to win, and sure enough, Ordeal saw the carrot and took it. Well done.
You could see on the middle, on the center pad, that there was snipers.
Right.
And
yeah.
then just two bikes came, and snipers had nothing to do.
Well, that's a problem with running snipers. This has been the traditional way to deal with them. It wasn't necessarily bikes, but like people would just say, "Oh, you got snipers on the field, just build tanks," you know, because snipers do absolutely no vehicle damage. It's not like Fanatics or say unit like Buggy, where they actually have pretty reasonable vehicle damage. So it's not like you could just sit your bikes in front of them. But against snipers, who cares? They're never going to take care of a model. It's, you know, the attack bikes will probably win 1v1 against the snipers. So yeah, that is the one. It's like Slingshot, like you were saying, that Slingshot can't deal with vehicles. So the moment that all the air is off the field, they become useless. But my God, what a... Oh, that play at the end, that was fantastic. Maybe one of the highlights of this tournament so far. All right, we got our next game. I'm going to get in there right now. My goodness. Well, terRror, it happened. We're at game number 5. Wow. This tournament, let me tell you, it's been absolutely awesome. We have one series that went 2 games. The rest of them all went to the max of the series. Like, that's awesome. You don't ever get to see that too often, and it just shows you that that's the kind of matches you get when you put together 8 of these really strong players. So that's been amazing, and I hope you guys have been enjoying it too. So I don't know, what do you think for this game 5? I have no idea. I think they're probably both going to go back to a comfort deck. Ordeal's probably going to play more Mutant Marauder, Chem Buggy, and then I don't know what Popes plays. What do you think?
I don't think that Pope has a specific deck that he likes.
Oh, okay. He just likes to play whatever, basically.
But I'm happy that we managed to force Ordeal to change deck.
Yeah, right? Because he's been playing pretty much the same thing throughout the whole tournament, and you know, you do love to see changes because that really does impact the match significantly. So,
but then again, I play Jade all the time, so
right.
I'm not really too want to make this statement.
I mean, so one of the other tournaments going on, I'm trying to remember, I think it's the Legion tournament in the community Discord. They'd have faction supremacy, and what that means is that you have to win a game with GDI, and then you have to win one with Nod. So, terRror, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. Like, what would you play to win with GDI? Is there a GDI comfort deck you have, or no?
I actually played it like 1 month ago, or 2, was it? When it was faction supremacy.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
And I played Solomon GDI.
Oh, okay, makes sense. That's the counterpart to Jade.
I'm not sure if you remember Mouse. Mitchell.
Oh, Mav Mitchell. Oh, of course. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm playing his deck on GDI.
Oh, really? Oh, man, that's awesome. You're talking about I don't remember the exact composition of the deck, but it's basically like snipers, rifle, Solomon. I don't quite remember the deck, but I know the one you're talking about.
It's basically GDI aggro, standard GDI aggro, just with the Solomon.
Yeah. It's not a bad deck. I know Mav didn't run dogs, and I think that would be an improvement to the deck, is to switch out dogs, or switch in dogs, I mean. But I know Mav, he hated broken units. The person we're talking about, in case none of you are familiar, Mav Mitchell was he was one of the better players in the Rivals community for a long time. He played since the beta, like I did. He's a Canadian, so he got in on the beta in October of 2019 or 2018, 2018, and or no, he played before that actually. And he was the only person in the community to really ham on playing Solomon. He was the first person to level his Solomon up to level 13 and so on. The pretty interesting guy.
He called everyone trash.
Yep. Oh yeah, he was a toxic guy for sure. And you know, oh man, that guy would rage for days.
I didn't found it toxic. I found it very funny. I think that he pretended it to manage seriously, but he in real he meant it like joke.
Yep. Hold on, I gotta deal with this guy. Where is my?
Okay, so we are waiting for Popes to bring up new deck.
I can't shoot. What's going on here? Why can't I? Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Seems like we are ready. Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's start.
Establishing battlefield control.
All right, guys, here we are. The grand finals, the last match, the penultimate of this amazing tournament, and we are going to be here on Orbit. What a great finish to this fantastic tournament. Well, and deck-wise, it looks like Popes is going to play that triple air Nod deck, which has been working quite well. It's very good against Nod, so not a bad choice, and especially on a map like Orbit, where you've got 3 pads separated. Having flying units is pretty impactful, but I don't know, who do you think takes this one?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it's a 2-2 series. These guys have been fighting real hard, going back and forth. And I do think that, like in that game where Popes won against the Ken Buggy Mutant Marauder deck, he did it with Shade, and it was with this deck, I believe. So having the Catalyst Gunship against the Mutant Marauders is great. Having the Shade for the Ken Buggy is great. I think Ordeal's going to have a tough time, but these are both really good players, so it's always hard to say.
The free air is good against North, as you mentioned, but this map is like...
Well, let's see who's going to take this first missile here. Ken Buggy on the top pad, of course. That means, no, hold on. Bikes do get there in time, but the Shade's going to reload just to clear the bikes. And will that be long enough? But no, single bike is going to live. That means another bike squad, a fresh one's going to come up. And it's going to be a bit tough, but of course the Shade goes up to that top pad, clearing that Ken Buggy. So that's going to be very, very good here, and it's going to be enough. All right, yep, there it is. Ordeal just didn't have enough time to push onto the pad, so he decided not to bother because he knew that moving the bikes into the fully reloaded Shade would, of course, be a bad idea. So that just forced Ordeal to lose that missile.
But how did the Shade did not kill the bikes?
Well, you would think it would, right? Like, you'd think it would one-shot them, but because it's eight missiles and they do a very specific amount of damage, it doesn't actually end up living. Or it actually ends up living one. So what he needs to do is he needs to get like a single shot from like a laser or anything to be able to clear them.
I have never noticed this.
Yeah, at even levels, Shade doesn't one-shot bikes. It one-shots a lot of things, but just not bikes. All right, well, Pope, so far, he's got good map control using air units to his advantage. Of course, that means Ordeal switches to Banshee, but you know what? Phantom is going to be extremely good, so he gets one shot off and then nice blocking with the lasers, moving it out of position, and he decides to back it off here. But now he's going to finally clear it. He got another Catalyst Gunship coming up to that top pad, and with the Shade here on the bottom right, that Kemba is going to get absolutely eliminated. And right now, looking very, very good here for Popes. I think he's got this, and let's have a look. Can the bikes make it in time? Doesn't matter. That far right pad was secured by Popes. He had all three. Phantom was just too good, and Popes was just too good. But overall, very, very close game between these two players. Really fantastic series. Popes is your champion.
I think that this was a big problem for Ordeal because there was nothing to use Mutant Marauders against.
That's it, right? Like, so again against a deck like the Mutant Marauder Ken Buggy deck, it's kind of like playing against tech units where if let's say it's like, I don't know, let's just say Zones and Disruptor. So that covers all unit types. Mutant Marauder and Ken Buggy doesn't. Of course, they don't shoot up, but on the ground, of course, the combination is very, very good. But the moment that you disrupt the combination, you take out one of those units, like the Ken Buggy, then the Mutant Marauders just don't really have a job anymore, and they're too easy to displace. So yeah, that was the big issue with that deck there. And Popes took real advantage of being able to clear the combination. So it worked out well for him, and he came out ahead as a result. So congratulations to him. Of course, Ordeal came in second place as well. And if we take a look at the seeding here, Ordeal was third, whereas Adam was second. So you might think that based on that, Ordeal wouldn't be in the finals, but boy, he did really show his prowess here and really came out ahead. So really well done to him, and really well done to all the participants today. It was a fantastic tournament.
Well, I was 8, so...
Yeah. That was very good. All right, well, I think that about wraps things up. terRror, was there anything you wanted to say before we sign off here?
I want to say a big thank you to you for hosting this for us. And
oh, my pleasure. It was a lot of fun.
Big thank you for the guys who played it and who made time for it, because it's how long?
Well, we started, actually it's just under 3 hours, which is pretty good.
Yes, but it's like 1 a.m. here in Slovakia.
Oh, true. I forgot about that. The time difference. Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
yeah.
So big thank you for all the guys who played this.
Well, that's fantastic. And, oh, sorry, go ahead, terRror.
To Avinash, who gave us the prizes.
Yeah, because this tournament was sponsored, and we did have some vanity prizes to give out to the participants. So, yeah, that was great.
And the winners, the finalists, are getting prizes too.
That's fantastic.
So, thanks. Okay, so that's it. Thank
All right.
you again for casting.
My pleasure. And for me personally, I just want to say a big thank you to you as well for organizing this and putting it together, because that takes a lot of time too. And yeah, big thank you to Adam as well for all these lovely production graphics. He did a phenomenal job putting this together. You know, I gotta say, I was not expecting this level of caliber, because I remember when you contacted me, it was just gonna be, it seemed like a, you know, just like a final tournament, but my gosh, you guys really, really put it out. You did a fantastic job on this, and I'm really glad I got to be a part of it. As always, for me, it's always just appreciated to get some time in the saddle as well to do some more casting, so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and in general, I hope you guys enjoyed the tournament. But, well, that'll be it for today, guys. So we're going to sign off here. I'm going to move it over to our outro screen, and we're going to finish off from there. And, well, maybe we'll catch you some other time, guys. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
All right, see ya.